I think we got right there. I think we'll get like an as the scene is transitioning. Yeah.
Fine, everybody knows what it is.
Because I don't have the
Welcome back to
Discord.
him off camera.
Right? It's always fun. I'll just learn to mute everyone else until like 5 seconds afterward.
What?
No.
You know, Zach's gonna be sitting there. Nut.
Oh God!
Welcome everyone to Dungeons of the Mad Mage, session 13. We're back for some more of Undermountain. I think we'll be in Undermountain this session.
I really hope so.
We weren't last.
Got some punching to do.
I mean, we punched last session, even though we weren't in
No,
Undermountain.
I got punched.
You got
Oh
hell.
yeah, you got.
I mean, you still punched. You still,
You got
you know.
Falcon punched.
Did he get
Uh,
punched?
I still couldn't
So,
find the fucking link for the scene that I was trying to find. Of like, it's like a robot that's just like do.
What you mean the Hulkbuster armor smacking?
That's what it was. It was a
Yeah,
Hulkbuster.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a pneumatic fist.
Uh-huh.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
All right.
That's what Jeremy needs.
For the cat.
For
I
what?
left it open. I'm just saying.
I mean, I would use it for plenty of things, but I'm not sure what I'm needing it for. All right, fellas, let's play some Dungeons & Dragons. Before that, let's have a bit of a recap on what happened last time on Dungeons of the Mad Mage. The party had made their way out of Undermountain in order to rest and recuperate from their adventures. Taking advantage of the downtime, several members of the party headed out into the city to run errands and investigate different opportunities. Of note, Bones met with guild representatives of the Guild of Fine Carvers, agreeing to submit his work of his own design, in order to gain guild membership and the benefits that entails. So Bones now has an appointment to have his work reviewed. See how that goes. Meanwhile, Ezrah visited Mert the Moneylender, one of the masked lords and benefactors of the party. Ezrah sought magical assistance with the heavy loads the party had found themselves recently encountering with Undermountain. And Mert promised to look into the matter as long as the party promised to look for the search of a mage by the name of Calabash, supposedly a long-forgotten apprentice of Halaster Blackcloak. In the meantime, Ashes and Matashtai met with one Ohkorea Stonemarrow, a dwarven mage that had once upon a time owned Trollskull Manor. She also just so happened to be the owner of a Staff of Healing, a magical piece that she was willing to part with. But the price tag, at 9,000 dragons, was a bit unpalatable for the party. Fortunately, Ohkorea had recently run into a bit of trouble with her shield guardian. While attempting to refresh the binding, the construct went berserk, and Ohkorea has contracted the party to shut down the guardian, that she might repair it, and in doing so, earn themselves a half-price discount on the Staff of Healing. And so, the party has found themselves teleported into a secretive home, where they've engaged battle with this shield guardian, and it now lays motionless beneath you. So,
As does Matt.
so what do you guys want to do? Yeah, I guess, actually, didn't we... Yeah, didn't we take one of his potions and shove it down his throat at the very end? Oh, you gave me one of his?
Motherfuckers always feed me my own potions.
Well, I gave him one of
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, sure, yeah.
I even rolled it
Saying.
for him.
I'll remember this.
Alright. So, Ohkorea, right, a few moments pass, Ohkorea hears, right, the sudden lack of noise and she comes kind of investigating. She comes calling down the hall from the other side of the living room, right? The dwarven living room covered in furs and dwarf-sized furniture.
I want to make sure that I deflate before she gets in the room.
Deflate?
Deflate, like, you know. I'm a tiefling again.
So-
About Ruth Gator Ginsburg and
Get
Sarah Palin.
everything all
Gotcha.
concealed and
All right, so you are going to revert forms,
Yeah.
which is just as horrifying to behold as
It's not
the
that
original
bad.
transformation. I imagine it's full on like the fur, like the hair, kind of like the shaggy fur, just kind of like molts off of you, right?
Wait, you tell me I leave basically
No, but
an
as
entire
it
animal with a
like coats
hair?
the ground, right? Since it's all like magic, it's all kind of like enchantment based, so it starts to like fizzle. It's like a demon carcass decaying rapidly, that type of thing. Like you would deal with that type of scenario, right?
I'll take my foot and start kicking it around, trying to make it dissipate faster. Like, come on.
Gotcha.
Baby, you
I
wanna
like
see
that.
My demon carcass.
Yeah. So you go through the whole like popping, clacking, molting, all right, and she doesn't like come running down the hall and across the living room and everything, but she does call, everything okay, boys?
Yeah, we're just changing.
Matashtai. So you've just been given your potion, so you're up, right? And so you're the one to respond. This area that you guys are in, this lab, is smashed to shit. This shield guardian, having gone berserk, has done a number on it. There's a what looks to be like an island scenario, right? That would be in the middle of the lab, but it's on wheels, so it's pushed over to one side, right? And it's clearly a cabinet. So you guys have seen there are cabinets and shelves all around the outer circle of this this lab, and there's stuff just shattered and broken all over the place. But this little island that's on wheels and pushed over in the corner, it's clearly the inside of it is hollow, right? It's a cabinet that you can store stuff in, and it's been stove in, basically, right? Like the front panels that you would be doors, right, are just smashed, destroyed, from a shield guardian sized fist that Matashtai is now intimately familiar with.
Yep, I know all about that fist.
And
Yeah.
sans anything
I don't
else
know what was
happening. Right? I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just
Everybody jump there.
I'm just painting a picture, right? Sans anything else happening, and Matashtai's response to Ohkorea a few moments later, right? Ohkorea comes waddling across the living room over to the entrance of the hallway. And is there anyone there to like greet her, or are you all like stuck together in the lab? I know, Ezra, you were hanging back initially, but that doesn't mean that's where you had to stay.
I would have crept in.
I'm trying to clean my face up.
Okay, was that just me, or did Jake just go like I was,
Yeah. he
and
cut
then
out.
Yeah.
It was like every 2 seconds you were gone for 2 seconds.
Lies
Yeah,
and
his stuff was jacked up.
It definitely lies in
It
slander.
just happened again. He said lies and slit. And it stopped.
But I know what he said on that one. That's
Is it really bad?
Because you know,
Not
bad.
they fucking grind something up. to
Talk
make
for
it
me
sausage,
again for a
doesn't mean
second.
You want to see it.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. This
Sounds
is
perfectly
my
fine
normal
now.
voice.
Yeah.
I
Talk
swear
to me
I
now.
am perfectly normal.
absolutely good right now.
Well,
Well, there was a little
Perfectly normal.
breakup, maybe? I don't know. It's significantly better. How about that?
Alright. Yeah. No, I would have crept up into the doorway, but I wouldn't have gone much further than that.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm gonna just be fucking around. I'll find a chair or something to sit in disrespectfully backwards.
Okay.
Such a rebel.
She has, and this is something probably that you're not overly familiar with. We are, right? We as humans in this day and age can kind of easily picture this, but this isn't something that you would see around in Waterdeep. She has in the lab, right? The only chairs that you can really find. There are 2 stools, right? But then there are 2 what we would consider more like restaurant chairs or things like that. She has 2 clean, spotless aluminum chairs.
Okay.
What's this aluminium?
And that's something that like you just don't see in this day and age in Waterdeep or mostly anywhere, right? Seeing metal furniture in and of itself is a bit of an oddity, right? Metal framing for furniture is more acceptable, but typically it's wood or stone, right? But to have something like this, this is an alloy, right? Have something like this be fashioned entirely into a piece of furniture is very odd. This whole laboratory looks odd. For, I would assume, the majority of you. Ezra, it's familiar to you, right? It looks like a wizard's lab, right? But it is a bit odd. It's, except for the fact that it's been smashed to bits, right? It's very state of the art, maybe, I guess would be the terminology. Like you've seen enough stuff here or there to know that whoever Ohkorea is, she can afford
Finer things.
good, yeah, definitely the finer things.
I've changed my mind. I don't like all this metal. I'm gonna take a stool outside.
All right.
Still disrespectfully.
Disrespectfully. Okay, so you're very like
I lean into Bones and say, "If only she had a bone chair, huh?"
If only.
so Ohkorea kind of like comes around the corner. No one being there at the T intersection to greet her. She kind of comes around the corner and she sees Ezra and Bones kind of out in the hallway and Matashtai over there close enough. Right, I'm assuming Ashes is like just off camera as we like turn the corner. Ashes is just off camera, like trying to finish kicking around the fur as it kind of like, right, you know. And then so Ohkorea kind of looks past you all, and she sees the shield guardian, and hadn't. So we're kind of backtracking a little bit, I believe. We kind of. Role played the scenario of she had come in and she pushes past all of you, and she kind of rushes over to the shield guardian. She says, "Oh, Betsy!" Right?
She named it.
Yeah, and so she immediately kind of falls into a matronly series of phrases and terminologies. Oh, they banged you up real good, girl, etc. You know, those types of things, right? Kind of.
I'm standing over there pointing at my face.
She seems completely
Blood.
unconcerned by the amount of damage the amount of harm that you've come to, right? And she immediately starts to like make notes, right? She goes over to one of the drawers and pulls out a pad and a quill. She starts jotting down notes on things. But after a few moments, right, she kind of like reasserts herself and all right, well, nope, I dropped Irish there. Sorry, apologize. She goes, all right, well, you did a fine job. Oh, this place is a mess. It's wrecked in here.
It was like this when we got here, we swear. Was it like this when we got here?
Sure was.
Yep.
That wasn't us.
She's. I believe you. I weren't here long enough to do all this. It's just not looking forward to cleaning up this mess. All right, fine. Yeah. And she walks back over to the shield guarding Betsy, and she kind of like she claps it on the shoulder, and she begins to make hand motions with her left hand, and she begins muttering quietly in Dwarvish, and then a hamster ball forms around the shield guardian.
Okay.
Basically, like this kind of like thick, slightly opaque, whitish globe just kind of forms around the shield guardian and envelops the whole thing.
Do I recognize what this is?
You roll Arcana for me.
23.
23. Even with a 23, you wouldn't know exactly what this is, but you would know what it is based off of. This is modified magic. It is, but it's based off of a globe of invulnerability. Okay. So, relatively not a high level spell, but a common enough spell for you to have researched or heard about or that type of scenario, right? But there are definitely some things that are off about this particular version of it.
Modified.
So Ohkorea goes through this, and then she kind of like stops and she says, "That should make sure it stays put for as long as I need it." All right, let's. She kind of like dust her hands off things and kind of like shoos you all forward out of the room, right? It's just like let's clear out of here. So let's finish up our business and get you all back where you need to be, so I can set about taking care of this. So she will usher you all out of the room, and she turns and she'll kind of like look just generally at the four of you and say, and she kind of like snaps her fingers. She is gesturing for
The money.
actually,
Uh,
So,
that she gave to whoever. I don't remember which one of you she actually gave it to. I think she gave it to Matashtai, or I think Matashtai ended up with it, or was it Bones? Do we remember?
I don't have it. I never spoke to this one before in my life.
Maybe I had it, so I
I
give
thought it
it
was
back.
cash.
Okay. So whoever has it gives it back, right? And then she basically just turns and closes the door and locks it, right? And then she again kind of ushers you all down to the living room. And then she says, "Right, so the matter of the staff. Wait right here." And she heads back down the hall, but turns to the left. You hear a door click. And
all right,
open
well,
and
while
close.
she's away, maybe we could go ahead and get the money together. Like, I mean, I can contribute a little bit. Like, I've got about 70 platinum I could help towards the cost.
Okay.
Are we each paying a fourth? What are we doing?
Works for me.
Don't have a whole lot of money on.
How much you got?
What is it? 4,000?
4,500.
It's 450 platinum or 4,500 gold.
I need to keep money on hand for what I asked
Actually, I
Mert
could
to do.
round up. I've got a little gold I could round up as well.
I'll cover some of your parts, but I expect a 20% interest rate.
Well, I'm just
What
saying all
the
the money that
fuck?
I spent on greater potions are going to all of you. Just pointing that out.
Ashes, no interest.
That's
What? It's only fair.
So, how do you guys want to portion this out? let's not make
I don't
this
know what we're
take
talking
20
about.
minutes
It's gonna take
to
at least
do
20
math,
minutes, maybe.
guys.
So-
Like,
so-
it should not be that big of a deal.
Jay's putting in 70. How much are you putting in,
I've got 80
Jake?
gold as well. I can convert that up to.
There's no need to convert.
Just keep your 80 gold.
I
Oh
could
my
put in
eye.
50.
Okay.
Okay,
So
that's
we're at 120 platinum,
So we need
and then
330.
Yeah, if you're doing plat.
Is that correct
Yeah.
or is that wrong?
yeah, 330 more. So then
That's a
we can
lot.
just split that in half, you and me, if you want.
I suppose so. I need my money. What the fuck?
Fine, I'll pay for fucking all of it.
No,
Fuck
it's fine.
it.
It's fine.
You guys,
Jesus
you guys
Christ.
don't have to buy the staff. Actually, you could just say, actually, on second thought, Ohkorea, we realize that this is not.
I pay
transaction that we
330 platinum.
Shut up. Stop it. Fuck.
So who's
Fine.
paying?
I pay my 165. God damn it. I'm fucking that happy.
All right. So you guys are paying all in platinum.
What is it? 450.
450 plat. Yep.
Determine what percentage of the staff I own.
No. God damn.
36%.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, after a few minutes, as you guys are
I
kind of like
give
haggling,
I give
with each
Ezra
other.
one of his platinum back and put one extra platinum in, so that I own slightly more percentage than.
What did you put in? So you put in 166?
Yeah.
Ezra is not,
Well,
Ezra is not
Here is the
contributing
company,
to this
guys.
game.
Yeah, fuck off, bitch.
Wow.
I then give Ashes his platinum back.
Anyways,
Carry on.
after a few minutes, right, of you guys haggling amongst yourselves, and eventually forming a pot, Ohkorea returns, and she brings with her a covered, it's covered in cloth, right? This kind of like a cheesecloth, kind of, honestly, is what it looks like, but it's a little dingy, and she carries it relatively daintily, kind of like held out before her. And when she gets over to you, she kind of like motions you all over to one of the kind of coffee tables in this living room area, and she lays the covered staff down on it, and then begins unfolding it. And when it's revealed, you find it to be an artifact past its time, past its prime, perhaps, right? It is a staff, but it looks to be made of brass or bronze, one of those particular alloys, right? And it is relatively tarnished. It seems quite ancient. And there is kind of a darkened cast to a large portion of it. So it's got probably about 2/3. The overall length of the entire thing is probably about 4 feet or so. Okay, and a good 2/3 of it is unornate, simple, rounded bronze staff. Right, that's kind of tarnished. But the last third is this kind of branching offshoot of different structures, but it all seems like it's one piece, or at least though the forging process for it was done well enough that you can't see any seams, right? There's no obvious signs where this portion of it was mounted onto the actual body of the staff. But it basically creates 4 pillars that go lengthwise down the third of the staff at the head, and then it creates a kind of this tarnished bronze halo at the top of the staff. And then she shows it to you, right? And she says she explains the properties of it. How about I say that? That's probably a better way of
We need providence.
explaining
Ezra was
it.
gonna ask anyways. So.
Certificate of authenticity.
So she explains that it is a staff of healing, and actually I think I'll be able to just pull this out real quick. Maybe. Yeah, and then I can just show to players. Boom. So, ignore, by the way, this is one of the things that I dislike heavily in certain editions of Dungeons and Dragons. Do not get me wrong. Attunement is perfectly fine. Class attunement is dumb, and I hate it. So ignore class attunement, right? There's no requirement for anyone to be a bard, cleric, or druid, right?
Do you have to be a magic user?
No, you do not have to be a magic user. Not for a... You do... So there are caveats if you're going to be utilizing scroll work, but a magic item like this is just activating a magic item, right? It doesn't... A fighter does not have to be a magic user to activate a flame tongue longsword. Why would a fighter need to be a magic user to activate a staff of healing? Yeah? Right, that's always been my opinion on things, so that's typically how I run things. Scrolls, I normally play a little differently, though, because that's like half-finished magic, right? So people who are not magic users can use scrolls, but they have a less chance of it succeeding. Now that, typically. Anyways,
Good.
so...
Ezra doesn't this.
Who has the highest spell
What the fuck
safety?
is my spell casting modifier?
You don't have one.
Dex.
You're not a spellcaster, so you don't have
I
one.
think it should be Dex.
That's not how that
So
works.
it's just a D8 healing. There's no.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So if you have no
Mine,
spellcasting,
36%
if you
of it.
have no spellcasting, you have no spellcasting modifier. So but yeah, so staff has 10 charges. You can expend charges to do either cure wounds, lesser restoration, or mass cure wounds, and the staff regains 1d6 plus 4 charges daily at dawn. You expend the last charge, there is a chance that the staff will self-destruct. So Ohkorea walks you through all of this, right? She explains each of these different properties, and kind of like, right, since it requires attunement, she can't show you directly. She's not attuned to the staff. But she does kind of explain each of the different functionalities of the staff and what its limitations are, how frequently you can expect to kind of use it if you're using it heavily, right? You know, your average is to get 7 to 8 charges back daily, right? So if you're using almost every charge almost every day, you're going to get to the point to where you can only do a little bit with it daily, right? But she won't say this in like game terms, right? She won't use the mechanical language, but she would say something along the lines of, you know how after you've been adventuring hard for a little bit, it can take a couple of days to kind of really rest and recuperate and get yourself back into fighting shape. Talking about things like hit dice and stuff like that, right? She would compare it to that. Yeah, she would basically be like, as long as you're doing that type of stuff, then the staff of healing tends to keep itself charged up. And then after kind of explaining everything, she will look at you all kind of expectantly, say, "Well, you did a fine job. So you're definitely you have definitely earned your half price staff." So
I will present our pot of currency.
okay,
Currency
sounds good.
pot.
Currency
Here's me
pot.
lucky pot of gold.
A lucky pot of gold. Cool. All right. So right now I'm gonna put it in all players' journals.
Cool.
Have it, and you guys can decide at a later date, right, what you want to do with it. Ohkorea, by the way, when you give her this, because this is a whole bunch of money, right? You give her 450 platinum. She does not count it. She kind of just eyeballs the amount. She kind of like puts her hand, so it's in this pile, right? Do you like put it in anything, or do you just like put it down on the table?
If there's a
Can't see
I'm assuming we don't really have a
Like a little satchel or something like that?
Look
Yeah.
for a cauldron. Put it in a cauldron. You know she's got a cauldron.
There were different sized cauldrons in the
does
laboratory.
she have like a mortar and pestle? I could just take the pestle out and just
Uh,
How big
That's-
goddamn mortar and pestle?
that's not that big of a mortar and pestle.
I'm
Yeah.
she might need to mix something that's very long.
She's over here like
Yeah.
this with a mortar.
Fucking jerking off
The-
an
really
hour
a
or
little
something?
one.
Big ass mortar and pestle. No. So you guys hand over the money, and she kind of rummages through it, kind of eyeballs it, but she does not meticulously count it. Seems to accept the fact that you guys have either been trustworthy and given her what you owe her,
Or she's very good at counting coin by volume.
or not.
Or she's able to do quick math.
And then she kind of says, "All right then. Well, not to be rude or anything, but I've got a bit of stuff to handle now. It's gonna be a long night. Here is your staff. There is my money. Let's get you home, shall we?"
Sounds great. Let's go ahead and get out of here. It was great doing business with you.
She kind of shoos you all forward again down that L-shaped hallway and back into the room with the two sconces and the arcane sigils carved into a circle on the floor. And she ushers you all into the circle and begins to chant in Dwarvish. And there is the streak of lights, right? You all kind of get that whole motion sickness vibe, where your world lurches about you. And then everything begins to solidify, right? It's kind of the space warp, like hyperdrive. Yeah, that type of thing. Where the stars just go whoosh past you, right? And then you're deposited outside the front of Troll Skull Manor. And it is evening. You can hear kind of a raucous laughter and song coming from within the lifted spirits. It seems as though the dinner supper crew, right, has arrived and is kind of going through the motions. What do you want to do?
Well, let's just make sure that somebody attunes to the staff this evening. I gotta say, I'd probably not be the best person to do it, since if I let go of any weapon to change it out for it, any of the rights I use will just kind of disappear. That'd be very detrimental.
You could just bash people with it.
I don't think I'm going to be bashing people with the staff that we're going to be using for healing.
Do we need to worry about the staff breaking?
You want to check in some manner?
Yes, I
No.
break it over my knee.
No, I mean,
I do not do that.
you can
Not the
check.
staff of power, dude.
You can check the strength, like the resistance
and
of
the
an
flexibility.
object without just like smashing it against something. No, it seems solid. Like I mean the head, right? Where the 4 pillars and the halo are. There's obviously less metal there. So I mean, it's probably not gonna. It probably won't be very useful as a bludgeoning weapon, right? But if you were to smack a person or two with it, it probably is not just gonna snap in half. You know? It is made of bronze. It is. Bronze is not brittle by any stretch of the imagination.
I am fine holding on to it, unless anyone else wants to be a healer.
I mean, I have no spellcasting modifier. Also, it's metal, so I'm philosophically opposed to it.
I would
I
have
mean,
to be
that does
close,
track.
and that is something I'm philosophical.
I don't think so. As a caveat, and I want to make sure that this, because I don't want this to turn into arguments later on. I don't think this is intended on as like battle magic. Like, you guys were just looking for additional ways to heal yourselves.
Sure,
Okay,
but
Jeremy,
at the same time, it
I'm
has
just
a
gonna say right
1d6
now
one-handed and a 1d8 two-handed, as well
literally,
as...
literally everything can be weaponized, Jeremy.
Well, sure. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm saying that no one need feel pressured into doing it. Right?
Technically, it is a staff, so it could be counted as a monk weapon.
Yeah, it absolutely can. That's why I'm
Yeah.
assuming I'll probably end up taking it. So,
Sure.
Yeah, that's-
I will take it, and I'll hook up the staff on one side, Tom McKee on the other side.
I immediately have this this picture in my mind of like 6 months from now and 50 episodes from now. Is that bad math? That was probably bad math. Regardless, I just like Matashtai walks into a room and there's like 8 things just like splayed out, strapped in his back. He has this whole, here's the staff, here's the spear, here's the
I
pike,
feel like
here's
he got
this,
that idea from somewhere.
here's this flag, right? It's like, I love it. That's great.
Ooh, I get a flag? Can I get a battle standard I can drop?
Well,
in
that's what I
battle?
was talking about.
shit.
What's the
Okay,
terminology? What are the flags in like
Standard.
There's
Well,
standards.
no, I know what a
there's
standard
another
is.
name for it. I know what he's talking about.
I'm talking about the Japanese or Chinese terminology. There's a series of words that they use to denote, because they use them far more frequently than in European warfare as identifying markers, right? Of hey, this is this.
Sashimono.
Sure, there you go. Right, something like that. That's more what I'm envisioning. Right, is you having that little flag like right up, like I'm on your side, right? You know.
It's definitely not a beacon of where the attacker.
Oh,
should
like the stupid thing that Yoshimitsu always wears.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Yeah,
that
there
is.
you
Yep. This stupid thing. Anyways.
Yeah, calling him stupid.
Jeez, rude much.
Super rude.
Regardless, though, so you guys determine, right, kind of the current owner of the staff, and your plan now is what? To head to bed, get up bright and early, and head back into Undermountain. So today is the 18th, right? And you guys had previously spoken about basically trying to go back into Undermountain on the 19th, come back out, handle more business, and then on the 20th being last sheaf, right? The holiday, kind of one of the last holidays going into winter, marking the first freeze and basically the closing of the roads and communication going out of the city, right? The shutting off of trade, the last chance to send out missives and letters and things like that, really. And yeah, is that still the game plan? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yes, I have an
Yes.
appointment in the evening tomorrow, friends.
Okay.
Oh,
Just so
he's got-
everyone is aware.
Bones has an appointment. He can't miss his appointment.
What time is your appointment?
I don't know, like 7, 6.
I believe it's 6.
So we just have to get back at a reasonable time. All right.
Yeah.
So, that being said, you guys doing anything else for the evening, or is it all bedtime?
I don't know. What time is it now?
It's probably around 5, or, well, no, it's you guys met Ohkorea at 5. Probably around 6.
That was fast.
So
Yeah, it did not
Six.
take
Getting to
long.
be some-
Going through the, like, talking with her and going through the teleportation, and then, like, the whole thing probably didn't even take an hour, but we're going to ballpark it at about an hour.
I have a question quick about the staff.
Sure.
Do I have to be wielding it to use the magic?
It has to be in a hand. Yeah.
Can I dual wield Tanbakiri and the staff?
So technically, yes. Right? Technically, Tombokiri is a one-handed, can be used as a one-handed weapon, a spear, right? And you can, regardless, you can, the staff, right? Say a quarterstaff is the same functionality. You can use a quarterstaff in one hand, right?
Yep.
So you can just hold both. Now, normally, if you were attempting to attack with both, that would not go well for you because you don't have those skills, right? You don't have that skill set. But there's nothing saying that you can't just hold the staff in one hand and constantly attack with Tonbokiri in the other.
Okay.
Honestly, can't. I mean, I guess that's. Yeah, I was about to say, can you be shitty and be like, two-handed Tambakiri, right? And then just reach up and grab it in his back, cast, and then go back to Tambakiri.
No, because it's a functionality of like you're using the staff as a focus and projecting the magic out of it, or like touching someone with the staff to cast the magic, right? That type of thing. So you could do a scenario. I guess I could envision a scenario where he holds the staff and then touches someone else. But see, even in that scenario, right, he would need a hand free to touch the person. So it's just simpler for him to take the staff and touch
You should
someone
just
with the
stab
staff.
him with Tonbokiri.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
mean
monk. Why
that
can't he touch
totally
him with his
works,
foot?
right? Because it's a matter of not being dickholes about mechanics. Is
He's a monk.
immediately where we go into that scenario.
Foot touch.
No, it's more like using magic is not. I don't know.
We're getting sidetracked. I will figure it
we're getting
out.
sidetracked. I mean, well, I don't think you have a whole lot to figure out. I think it's just if you want to use the staff, hold the staff, right? Otherwise, you should be good.
I will be
I feel like
using
I'm-
Tanbakiri until someone's getting low, and then I will yeet Tanbakiri at someone and pull out the Staff of Healing and heal them.
Sure.
Okay, so if it's 6 p.m., can I get an 8-hour work day and go to bed at like 2 a.m.? And then we could go in the dungeon at like 10, say 11 a.m. and then come back out?
If you're doing that, you're running the risk of
Being late.
being late to your appointment.
True.
Because it's
Probably
like
not
an
worth it.
hour trip to Joining Portal.
Yeah,
Well, it's
just on its own.
Yeah.
Well, it's about it's a half an hour to an hour to cross the city, basically.
Yeah, it's probably not worth
Depends
it.
on
It's
traffic.
fine.
So.
I would like to take 2 months off, guys.
Look,
I was just fine with that.
you're gonna get there eventually. Don't worry about the downtime that much. So, we're going to sleep.
I'm not at 6. What the fuck? I'm not fucking grandma's.
Okay. So you guys are eating a meal, hanging out, and then so basically the question is there anything we need to actively do or go through before we head into sleepy
Well, I
time?
don't know. Probably not.
No.
Yeah. So you guys wind down your evening doing whatever it is each of you feels like doing. And then you spend your night probably at least a little listlessly, though I guess it depends on each of your personalities, as a bit of a gale comes howling in from the sea of swords. And as it does, you feel the already kind of chilly temperature, especially at nighttime at this point here, kind of plummet. And the city around you and the tavern below you go quiet very quickly. Not like instantly quickly, but it's like people suddenly become aware that, oh, this is kind of a shitty storm. Let's get out of here. Let's get home. Right? Let's go about our business. Let's not be out on the streets right now.
Gotcha. Cool.
Okay.
That being said, nothing horrendous happens at nighttime. Sleep through. But you awaken on the tomorrow, on the 19th, and find that it's kind of an icy winterland outside Troll Skull. Heavy.
Matt fucking loves snow.
Well, so here's the thing. Heavy rain fell throughout the majority of the night in this gale, but it didn't snow. It's just like ice and sludge frozen all over the place. So there are like the windswept icicles like hanging off of the manor and all of the buildings around, right? But there's no lovely drifts of snow or anything. It's all just like clear, sharp ice or sludge.
I attempt to skate on the sheer sharp ice.
Okay. So there, I laugh, right? But there are probably at least a few sections in the city that are famous for that type of thing, right? So like the cobblestones, right? When they slick over in ice, they become very slippery. Not something that you can necessarily ice skate on, right? But something that you can slide about on. So you can easily like go out to the northern street. I think that it's the Desrome or something like that, and go kind of like sliding around there. But you find out pretty quickly, right? There are plenty of kids out kind of like playing now that the morning is much clearer than the evening or the night was. That there are basically skating rinks that happen around the city, but this wasn't enough of a big freeze for it to have actually put them in business, right? That's not going to happen until later on in winter season. So, it is the morning of the 19th. You guys want to do anything, or are we heading straight to...
We're just gonna do
Undermountain.
the thing where we just, like, you know, in Skyrim, where you're like, I'm gonna sleep till this point.
Mhm.
Not really sleeping.
Just rest for 10
Rest
hours.
for fucking 12 and a half hours.
Early in the morning, Ezra would go to Matt's room.
Okay.
You say Matt's room? You broke up.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Run over to the door.
Is he gonna watch him sleep?
Open the door. You said early morning, right? Morning, Ezra.
Did I wake
you
you? I know it's a little early, but I wanted to catch you before we get ready to head out.
You did. I was in a dead sleep. You knocked.
Oh, I'm sorry. And Ezra will turn away and start walking.
I'm just kidding. Come on back. What's going on?
Are you sure? I don't want to inconvenience you.
You are not in.
Okay. So I wanted to have a quick conversation. What we've got is a good group, and we've got some cool things that we're doing, and I just want to make sure that things are good with the group, and I kind of feel like you have issues with me, or there's something going on, and I just want to see if I did something wrong, or if there's something that I did. I just want to make sure that things are working.
I don't have any problems with you. Sure, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, because while we were down there the last couple of times, you mentioned to our veiled friend that it was my idea to kill his agents, and on numerous situations you have referred to me as a wimp or weak or incapable, and I just I feel like it's targeted or pointed, and I don't know what I did.
Well, first of all, I've never called you incapable. I have called you a wimp because you're kind of a string bean.
String bane.
There you
You
go.
see, as you
Fucking
kind of
accent.
look down, dejected.
String bane.
Trying that.
Good. Jeez.
And I meant nothing by it when we were talking to Am. Yeah, Am. It was literally a joke. I have no problems with you, Ezra.
Okay, I just
I
want to
wouldn't be traveling down there if I didn't like you.
because definitely seemed like you had an issue, and just wanted.
Ezra, did you have siblings growing up?
Yeah, I had an older sister, but it was kind of just us, and we were living in the woods, so things were.
And maybe it's a bit different. Or on your, but growing up, I had full family, sister as well. There's always a little bit of ribbon between me and my sister, making fun of each other, picking on each other's quirks, things like that. Just how I grew up. Meant nothing by it. Apologize for hurting your feelings. Make sure to be careful about it.
Is he breaking up for anyone else?
Yeah, so I'm
Okay,
trying.
I saw
I'm trying not to.
Jeremy's-
I got the majority of it. I got the
I knew what was
vast
going
majority
on.
of it. Yeah.
But I saw Jeremy's face. I'm like,
So I'm trying to. Yeah, I didn't want to like jump in and ruin a moment or anything like that. But I am getting a little bit of breakup from both of you. But it's very intermittent, right? So like I got 98.7356% of what the fuck you guys were talking about there. But there were just little cuts here or there. So maybe
Discord being.
Discord might just be having a little bit of a issue, or we might take a break here in a little bit, and everyone might check their thresholds just to make sure nothing funky is going on. But we'll see. But don't worry, we did get the vast majority of what both of you said. Continue. I apologize.
Okay, I just we've got stuff that we need to do, and I know you're anxious to get down there, and I have things I need to do down there, but I want to make sure that we go in there smartly and come back, because I kind of want to come back and do some other things. So I just want to make sure things work out. That's all.
I say, give me 1 second, and I go and grab my stuff and strap it on my back. I come out the door. Close the door behind me. Put my arm around Ezra, and I start walking down to the, or I start walking him down towards the tavern, and I say, I want to be smart when we're down there too. That's why we got you. You're the thinker. I'm just going in and hitting things.
You do a good job. Well, last night you did a good job taking a couple of hits from what I saw, but you did that well.
He hit the things first. Dang it.
That one got away from me.
This dude just asked, "Why do you make fun of me?" and then said, "Man, you're good at getting hit in the face."
He's learning. He's learning
It
to
was
rib
a
his siblings.
compliment, though.
Sure. Yes.
He did it well.
Yes. Anyways,
That's quirky.
goddamn
Shut up,
thing.
Zach.
I mean, I'm not.
And as
Okay.
we walk, I do lean in close and I say, really though, I'm insulting you and I'm bothering. I'm glad that you came and said something, because I don't want anyone to feel like that.
It's fine. Don't want to. I'm already pretty awkward if you haven't noticed. So I just want to try and make sure that it wasn't something I did.
No, clearly it was something I did.
My babies are growing up and being friends.
Don't get used to it, Jeremy.
Like, what? This is the first time in how many years of us knowing each other?
I feel like there's been heart to hearts in other games.
You had to like stop and think there. There was like this moment where you were like,
Yeah, they really are.
I think we had some character growth somewhere, maybe.
Yeah. I'm putting in the extra effort for this game, Jeremy.
I feel you, fam. All right, so that puts Ezra and Matashtai downstairs.
God damn. I scrolled up. I'm like, oh god, nope. All right.
As we get down and we order food, I pile extra food onto Ezra's plate.
We gotta get away from the string beingness somehow.
We gotta bulk you up, boy.
Gotta bulk you up, boy.
It's my heritage. Have you never met an elf before?
Force it down him.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's training
I've
time.
met elves. They weren't that skinny, and I poke him.
Hold on.
You take 1 point of damage, Ezra.
Technically, mage armor wouldn't be up, so he hits.
Oh, goodness. All right. Anything else you guys want to do before we head off the wild yonder?
Let's see.
Bit my tongue like 2 days ago,
No.
and it's like
All
real
right,
fucked up.
I just made a list of all the things I'm leaving up here, and it's in that Google Doc that I said I linked to. So
Cool. Awesome. Sounds good.
So.
All right. Well,
more-
if you
more
guys
carrying shit.
are ready
Apparently-
to go,
If you tell Domino's to sauce me up, Daddy, they don't give you more sauce.
What is that? What do they do?
I don't
Did
know
you
if you want
actually
to know.
use the words "sauce me up, daddy"?
Yeah, I put it in the comment. I said, sauce me up, Daddy.
Yeah. Did you in the selection? Did you add extra sauce?
That's not an option, otherwise I wouldn't need to put the comment.
Oh, what did you get? You're eating pasta, aren't you?
Yeah, pasta.
Oh, I was gonna say on pizzas they have an extra sauce option.
I don't give a fuck about no sauce pizza. Pizza sauce.
Oh fuck! Shit, you said Domino's, so I was like pizza.
I don't get
Yeah, I
Domino's.
mean, I feel
Tonight's
like that's a
episode
safe-
sponsored by Domino's.
I feel like that's a safe assumption.
I thought so, but clearly I was wrong. Anyways, so you all head this chilly, frozen morning on over towards the yawning portal, and you find that the city is still awake, still alive, still prepping for the last vestiges of trade and communication to leave the city shortly. But people are way more bundled up, right? There are little smatterings of kids, groups, clusters of kids kind of running around the streets, sliding on the ice, chasing each other with icicles, getting into a lot of trouble, that type of shit, right? It's clear like there's not like a
Put their eyes on.
public school system in Waterdeep, but there are open centers of learning where it's expected that most kids are gonna spend a lot of time, right? It's that type of thing. It's kind of like voluntary schooling, but everyone does it because it's like also daycare for your kids, basically. And then, but in the winter months, right, that typically lets up. But instead of all the kids staying home, they do that in the heavy snows, right? But it's this time period where basically kids run wild in the streets. Sorry, you were.
I throw a couple slush balls at kids.
you
Slush
get a
ball.
bunch of slush balls back if that is the case.
I deflect the missiles.
And you will. Well, the thing about it is they're slush balls. So as soon as you make contact with them, part of it gets deflected, and the rest of it just goes right? Because it's made of slush.
I would like to expend a key point and throw it back.
Starting strong.
So you will, if that is the case,
to contribute,
legitimately,
and then
if
press
that
the digit to any wet spot.
if that is the case, though, Matashtai, you will begin to earn yourself a bit of a reputation around. I'm assuming you do this as you guys are hailing a coach or something like that to head down to.
Yeah.
So you will begin to earn a bit of a reputation, at least amongst the kids of the North Ward, as a fun adult, not not a stick in the mud.
Bones does not fucking understand this ice, and does the cat thing where he shakes his paw every time he takes a step.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, like this is bullshit. Bones explains.
It's cold and it's wet and it sucks. Okay. So you guys head on down. I'm gonna need 2 shards from somebody. I gotta milk you guys for cash, so I can't let you buy stabs of healing all the time.
I shard it up.
You shard it up. All right. So
Just
Matashtai hails a coach, and you all kind of head on down to the Yawning Portal, where, I mean, things are still pretty typical here, right? There's still a small breakfast crowd. Obaya is in the seats. Rainair is actually in here this morning, which is pretty rare for him. He is not normally a breakfast individual. Typically, that means if Rainair is here in the morning, either he has very important business or he stayed here overnight.
He's had a long night.
Yeah, which is typically pretty rare for him. But he will hail you as you all come in. Kind of like just make small talk with you, see how everyone's doing. Mostly talk to Ezrah and Bones, making sure everything's going okay with them. Right?
Ezra had explained what we've done so far.
Cool, fantastic. He'll ask if any of you have any big plans for Last Sheaf. If you're doing anything at the Lifted Spirits, if there's going to be a dinner, or you're just kind of playing it relaxed.
Did we establish something with what's his nuts?
Not particularly.
Did he mention that something was happening?
Sine had asked if you guys wanted to do anything for
what's his nuts?
For the holiday or anything like that, but you guys kind of just left it up to him. So.
Yeah, I think we're just assuming it's going to be a happy surprise.
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha.
Sine's got it on lock.
He says, okay. I mean, I know you guys haven't been up and running for very long, but are you planning on doing anything for the staff?
The staff of what? We have a staff.
Well, yes, so it's typical to give small gifts. Friends and co-workers. That family, that type of thing. I mean, it's fine. It's just
Is this goddamn Christmas? Are we at Christmas?
It's
or
kind of
Thanksgiving?
it's kind of a mixture of Christmas and Thanksgiving.
I thought we were at Thanksgiving.
So the gifts are normally mostly food-based gifts, right? Like a jar of jam, or like smoked meats or things like that, right? But sometimes small trinkets or things like that are given.
Rainair?
Is there a
Rainair's just kind of chatting with you. Huh?
Is there a bakery in town?
In town?
Like a good bakery?
Several like excellent bakeries and 50,000 good bakeries, right? There's an entire baker's guild. That's how important bread and just in general the food form is important to Waterdeep.
Should we have some pastries delivered to the staff as a Rainier, how much do pastries cost?
Rainer says that would be a fine idea. I mean, if you kind of late notice, so you might get a little bit of a rush charge for something like that. But I mean, what? You're not looking to fill a household or anything like that. You just want to deliver a assortment
Like a
of
dozen.
pastries.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know. From a good bakery, probably run you 5 gold.
Throw him 5 gold.
he
He's
just
not
says,
gonna
"Hey, oh, whoa! I'm just the investor."
Reading the room.
He says, "I have my own arrangements to take care of." And he kind of points over to Durden, or Durnan, not Durden, Durnan, and he says, "I'm sure for a little bit of coin, Durnan can arrange for a runner or someone like that to get you taken care of."
Ezra will.
So Durnan will do it. He'll just charge you like 5 shards to put together.
Okay, I will give him 10 gold.
All right.
And I'll take out a piece of parchment. I'll write a little note saying it's from us.
Yeah,
and
who it's
thank you for all
from,
you do, and
where
blah, 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 blah,
like
blah.
the address, etc. That whole like directions, and then like a greeting note and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you take a few moments, right? And Raynar kind of chit chats with you guys as everything is going on. He asks, kind of like how things have been, how the dungeon delving is going, right? Found anything interesting yet? He will let you know that he's been down in Undermountain a time or two, but he's never really gone exploring, right? Really tried to look into the goings on of the mountain. He's always heard, and he kind of says this out of earshot of Durnan, right? But kind of in a low tone, he says, "I've always heard, well, quite frankly, horror stories about how people end up if they spend too long down there."
Well,
Durnan.
back up.
How long was Durnan in there?
Well, Durnan and his partner explored Undermountain for months, if not years, before they made their final fortunes and stopped adventuring.
Who was his partner?
Kernan? Is it Kernan?
I believe you've met him before. His name is Mert.
Durnan and Mert.
Martin Darnan. It's like Turner and Hooch.
Mert and Durnan.
I mean,
Just the two of them?
the two of them had
Just
many
the two of us.
partners over the years, many individuals that they worked with, adventured with, but they were fast friends for a long time.
Must have been a pretty pleasant trip if once they came out of the dungeon, they're like, you know what needs to be here? A tavern.
Well, that's what Durnan spent the majority of his findings on, was establishing this tavern, and well, now he makes a gold mine off of charging people to continue to explore what he has already explored.
Pretty smart business practice.
Yes, it is. Although I say it as though it's some sort of con. It's a dangerous line of work. It's a dangerous thing to do, adventuring, but, well, the people who are good at it make their fortunes. That's why people continue to do it. If it was all scam and foolery, then people would have stopped doing it long ago.
Hey, though.
I believe that.
Maybe not. How much money have you made in the time you've been down there?
Dumb amount.
A lot of money.
says, and you haven't gone far yet, have you? Right?
Nope.
From what I hear tell, the lower levels are just walking amongst gold piles, diamonds and rubies and sapphires filling caverns.
And nothing else, I'm sure.
Oh, no, nothing else. Just tyrants and dragons, horrors the like, which have never seen the surface.
How many dragons are down there?
I should think countless thousands.
I'm sorry, was one of those things whores? There are whores
Yes.
that won't reach the... Look, I don't know what he said. That's what it
Yes.
sounded like, fucker.
Horrors.
Maybe use
I'm glad-
context, fucker.
You're so defensive, fucker.
It could have been. It could have been.
I'm so glad Zach called it out because I was thinking it but didn't want to say anything.
Okay, exactly. Exactly.
Anyways.
This is why I love you, Zach.
So, that being said, right, Ezra finishes his instructions and letter, right, hands over the money to Durnan, who promises to find a runner and send him to a good bakery. Get things taken care of. And then he kind of like just looks at the four of you and says, "So, going down today?"
That's the plan.
Bet your ass we are.
And he kind of. So, was the 10 gold partly paying for the trip down, or was that just
No,
for?
that was
Huh?
that was tip.
That's
Both
tip.
for him,
Okay.
The runner, etc., etc.
So,
Make sure
if
that
that's
shit happens.
just for the last chief stuff, he Durnan, ever the businessman, goes, "All right, well, that'll be 1 gold apiece."
Flip a coin.
I pay my admission.
Admissions fees paid. Durnan lowers you all down into open maw.
And you hear the Mario going down a tube noise.
Very nice.
Is Pac-Man dying?
It's impossible to emulate.
That was more Pac-Man.
All right, fellas, let's actually kick over to some dungeon of the Mad Mage. Pew pew. Okay, so real quick, first of all, you guys need to edit or some of you need to edit your health, because you have definitely taken a long rest.
Nuh-uh.
Since. But if you would like to enter,
My stuff is all exactly where it should
if
be.
you would like to enter the Dungeon of the Mad Mage with 7 HP, you sure as shit can.
Heals up, you hear the mushroom get noise.
Also, let me move
I'm an unkillable
on
god
over
king.
here.
Ezra will pop the last mage armor in the Harsniketa.
Awesome. Which affects you with a spell, so immediately refreshes the mage armor in the Pulse Narketa.
Oh, so I shouldn't have
that's,
taken it off the last time.
No. So that's the thing, right? Is if you find some spell that you're just gonna cyclically use on yourself repeatedly, you basically just refresh that spell repeatedly.
Is there a way for me to clear out a spell without using it? Seeing
I
as
would
have
say.
two mage armors in there.
So I would say, yeah, you could basically like go to cast the spell and then just let the magic dissipate. So it's not going to take effect, but it is going to release the magic from the artifact.
As soon as I would have realized that I only needed one in there, I would have done that. So
Sure, by all means.
So,
Whoa!
where are we going?
How are you? Before you decide that, I would like everyone to go ahead and take a look at their player handouts. Is this the right? Am I in the right thing? Did I put it in the wrong? Ooh, wait, no. I have a word. Okay, so if everyone can go to player handouts, maybe
I
not.
see our tour.
What am I looking for?
Maybe not player handouts. Hold up.
Wow, my immersion gone.
Oh,
Yeah,
super
that off.
immersion, right?
I want to pour myself a drink.
Ruh-roh,
Only way he
Raggy.
can cope with his lost immersion.
Right.
Mm. Un momento. Actually, now that I think about it, why don't we go on break real quick? Because I need to pee anyways.
cool.
So we'll go on break. Everyone can take a potty bio break, refreshment break, and I'll double check where this handout is, and then we will be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So,
I'll be back.
you guys in a bit. Welcome back, everybody, to Dungeons of the Mad Mage. And
Disrespectful.
so now people can see on screen, but you guys should be able to find in your player handouts section
There's
Oh,
something
shit.
a
in
new
there.
subfolder. There should be a maps section in there. Now, this is not the best solution in the world, right? But this is at least a serviceable solution until we maybe find a better way, right? So you guys can, at the very least, kind of have a basic map of, and I think so. This map should be bigger. By the way, I'll have to look
No,
at.
I mean, I can work off of this.
Yeah,
so-
but the map should be bigger. This is a resaved map from the other module because the original map is in a folder that I don't have time to get to, right? So I will replace it with the original map that I made, so it's going to be a little bit larger for you guys to actually be able to look into things. But that way you guys can at least, and what I'll do is after every session, right, once you guys explore new locations on a map, I'll remove sections of Fog of War and update the map so you have that as a reference tool.
That's
So
really
this is currently
cool.
up to date.
Yeah, so this is currently up to date with everything that you guys have explored so far in the.
Thank you, Jeremy. That was very thoughtful.
That is extra work on your part, and I appreciate the effort.
Like I said, not the best solution so far, but a serviceable solution, and we'll figure out if we can get a better workaround later on.
If we want to put a roleplay spin on it, we could say that Matt is painting it with the help of everybody with where we've explored.
Sure, sounds good to me. All right, so you guys now have your map to reference. Now we can go back, and this is why I was trying to no earlier. You guys can now go back to the question of, wait, where the fuck are we going? Where have we not gone yet so far, etc. I will say,
it looks
so
like we finished north, right?
Yes.
Unless there is a secret somewhere.
So,
Does that-
so again, I'll say this, right? I'm gonna get you guys a bigger map so you can clearly see where doors are marked, right? That you found. But so I'm gonna step in and just answer for you. Unless there are secrets that you are missing in the north, which is entirely possible, you have found no other ways to go forward that you have not explored.
Okay. So south is the only place that is it. Oh, it's that corner hallway we haven't gone down all the way
The left.
because
Yeah.
we chickened out.
Yeah. Chicken.
Chicken.
And we still have that evil water room.
Oh, yeah, we do have
Oh.
evil water room that electrocutes you when you go near it.
Poop room.
All right, you know what?
the
You know what?
poop room.
Let's get that out of the way.
You
let's
wanna
get
go
that
to
out
the
of the
poop room.
Let's go to the poop room.
Poop water room. All right. Well, you
I'm not
guys.
touching it first.
You guys are downstairs, or you're down in the dungeon at the start, in the large, open, dusty chamber with the series of shields that hang along the walls. You make your way down into the long hallway, right, that has the bas-relief carvings of all of the different demons. And at the Nalfeshne, the pigman, right? You guys know where the little switch is to open the secret passage. Notably, and I think you guys have already noted this, the Kinku skeleton, right? That when you first came down here, there was an entire Kinku skeleton, and then the next time you came down there, or down here, the skull was missing. Now the entire thing's gone. It's just no longer there.
Okay,
Cool.
so somebody has taken that. I suspiciously eye bones.
I don't deal in humanoids. I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys this.
So you guys find the button and you're opening the passageway, I presume?
Correct.
Okay, so there's
I
this.
press the button.
There's the as the door kind of like the sculpture swings open, right, of the Nalfeshne, and you immediately that kind of reeking sewage stench hits your nostrils, and you guys can make your way down the slick, rough-hewn tunnel and into the far room.
All right.
And-
Let's take a moment real quick before we get into here.
Okay. So kind of like out of ear and eye shot, right, of the immediate portions of the room.
Like
you
up-
kind of like pause.
Tunnel low way. All right.
Okay. Because keep in mind, right, Matashtai, you do have the drift globe that's kind of floating on you at all times, right? So if you guys are trying to be stealthy, you're a beacon of light.
Question about that real quick then. Do you play Drift Globe where it floats behind me or that it floats with me?
So you can do the scenario, right, how I was saying, the way the magic item functions.
I put like a
Yeah. The way the
rope
magic
around it
item
and shit.
technically functions is it's supposed to follow you at a distance, right? Which is just wonky for mechanical purposes. So if you want to keep the light with you, it's simple enough to fashion some sort of harness or some sort of catch on your clothing or something like that, right? To keep the light with you. And that's what I assume you're doing, because I assume you're wanting to use it on you. However, that being the case, if it's on, you're basically just walking around with a lantern on you at all times. So if you want to figure out, like, in the future, if you want to figure out, like, a hood to put over it or something like that, I don't know. It's a simple command word to turn it off and on. So if you need to be stealthy, you can just turn it off. You're just going to be kind of blind. You know?
Okay. All right. Well, back,
There's things
back
to consider.
the game. All right. So let's go over this because I don't remember a lot about what happened last time we tried to go in this area. So
We got close. I think you got close, and something hurt you, and it was very
Purdy?
undefined.
There is something in the water, and
Yes,
there
there's
is
a statue in
a
the water.
statue. Well, there is also a statue, but there was movement in the water.
All right. Well, I got an idea. I don't know if it's gonna work, but so I'm thinking if I take the drift globe, I just throw it in the water, and then cast daylight, we might get better idea of what's moving around down there.
Oh,
Alright,
I
good.
excitedly pull out my crossbow.
From my understanding of something of the nature of daylight, we don't want to watch it ignite.
Okay, so if I shove it in there, we all look away. Think that'll work?
That's my understanding of how
How murky is the water?
pretty much.
Probably pretty murky.
It's basically sewage water.
Well, at that point, we could probably look at it and it not
Gross.
do anything.
You're gonna have a stank orb.
Mm.
Stank orb?
It'll clean it up.
Prestidigitate comes
Yeah.
What's that?
Fully-
Yeah,
fully
prestidigitation
equipped.
motors.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, everybody got ranged weapons just in case. Because
That's all I got.
I accidentally forgot to get a bow, so no,
Can you use a longbow?
I cannot.
Can you? Hold on, let me see else what I got. I got a whole bag of tricks.
You ain't got no dags?
I'm not throwing my dags in there. Fuck off.
Sharp boys?
Can you throw pitons like darts?
I don't know.
Improvised
not.
weapon.
Yeah, it
I
would be an
hand
improvised
Bones
weapon.
one of my daggers.
Oh, is it metal?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'll take it, but I'm gonna hold it like real far away from me.
So Bones is just kind of like awkwardly holding it out, like,
I imagine you're just gonna hold the tip and flick it.
Yeah. just-
All right. Well, since you ain't got no range weapons,
Ezra.
I hand him the grappling hook.
Also made of metal.
Yeah, but he can hold it by the rope. And maybe.
Just the idea. He's physically distraught.
Well, you ain't gotta touch it, but maybe see if you can hook whatever's swimming around down there. Maybe we can pull it out.
Fine.
All right. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Chick-chack.
I grab the drift globe and I untie it from its harness thingy.
Okay. Everyone
I
should
mean,
probably
you
get
wanna be
into
closer to the
position
edge?
where they want to be before this stuff goes down.
Okay.
Can I stand? That's kind of in the wall. I don't know if.
You're fine.
All right.
We're all kind
I mean,
of
you're
in the
like
wall.
you're like all pressed up, right?
I mean,
Hold up. Out of character. What would be a dope ass command word for turning this on?
Illuminate.
Phone call.
I take the orb, I stuff it in the water, and say, "Phone call."
I didn't even hear it. That's the bad thing.
I know. That's so disappointing.
Right? Jeez. And he'll never know.
I mean, you can watch the VOD.
All right.
He doesn't. You
Um,
know he doesn't.
Well, you guys aren't supposed to watch the VOD, because then you can see stuff.
That's true.
You could listen to the VOD.
That's why we need another box to stream from that has player view and not
That can-
DM view.
That can be you,
I could start recording.
Amalam.
Well, I mean,
Well, Jay's already recording.
I don't have the cool shit though. You know,
Shit.
I don't have the layouts. I just
Well,
have a.
I feel like you could make layouts.
He
Joe.
did make the
well,
layouts.
Here's the
That
problem.
was the.
I like the idea of me running like the exact same layouts, but the thing is, I have no real way of knowing like to sync the layout that Jeremy is currently using
Why?
with the layout that
It's almost
I'm
like you're
currently
Why
gonna
is-
say something.
Why does it? Well, I mean, yeah, I could say whenever I'm transitioning from one scene to another scene. But two, why would you necessarily need to match up, right? As long as the cameras are on and you're seeing what you're seeing, why would you need to match up with what I'm showing?
I don't know
Viewers.
because fucking I feel
Right,
like that
did
would bug me not being.
But you'll never know because you won't see the other
but
side.
that bugs me because I don't know. I
This
want
feels
to know.
like a great conversation to have while
Right.
we're live.
I'm
boys.
Right.
just killing time.
Well, I think we're Jack and Jaw, but we can continue. So you all kind of become ready, and then so what's your plan? Are you just throwing it down in the water near you, or are you chunking it out there into the water as far as you can?
Will it like? Can you throw it?
It has a force of movement all its own, right? But it doesn't resist you. You're its controller, right? And it will retain momentum, right? If you were to like try to throw it across a cliff, right, to the other side of something, it would probably sail for a little while and then be like, wait a second, where?
Gotta
Where?
go back.
Right?
Okay, so
You
I
know?
could probably just like yeet it down. Like,
Yeah, you
over
can.
into
That
here
force
somewhere.
of momentum's gonna be like, whew, and then it's gonna be like, did you just throw me away, bro? Like it just
Like-
emerges.
bro.
Alright. All right, I'm gonna yeet it into here and then
Sure.
activate daylight.
Okay, so we'll just say daylight will blossom right from
And then we all look away, just in case.
this thing.
We dab
And
on
daylight is 60 feet, right?
Yep.
Is
Yeah.
there a? Oh, so it's 120 feet, but it's 60 feet, right?
Right.
And I think it has some other effects about.
Blinding.
Yeah.
If you choose a point on an object you are holding or one that isn't being carried or worn, the light shines from the object and moves. Oh, you don't even have to. You don't have to. Wait, does Drift Globe say it casts daylight on itself?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
am I thinking of something?
No, I think
else
you're.
would it
Oh, okay.
cast?
Well,
Okay.
so daylight, the spell allows you to cast it, cause it to emanate The light or daylight spell. Yes. Okay. So
Yeah,
it
okay.
does. So daylight as a spell, typically you can put it on something, or you can just choose a point right within range. But
Sure.
the drift globe specifically emanates the daylight spell itself. So I just wanted to verify
That's
that.
what I assumed.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to double check and make sure that it didn't just give you the ability to cast daylight, that it in fact made it from itself.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
How cool would that be, though? I hold the
better.
globe and just make daylight
yeah,
out there.
exactly. That'd be super cool. Right?
like it's more of a focus instead of a
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
However,
yeah.
However,
That would be a better version of it. Yeah.
it does not. It emanates. So if you choose a point, light shines from the object and moves with it, completely covering the affected object with an opaque object, which is a bowl or a helm, blocks the light. If any of this spell's area overlaps an area of darkness created by a spell of 3rd level or lower, the spell that created darkness is dispelled. But there is nothing to mention as far as like blindness or anything like that goes, right? I would probably rule in most scenarios that an individual would take like a Constitution saving throw that'd be pretty weak, right? It's like
Would it?
it's like
and
Krillin's thing.
Obviously, their answer here. But would it have more of an impact on a creature that lives in complete darkness like this?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Okay.
Were you talking about solar flare, Jeremy?
Yes, I was. You didn't see it, but freaking yeah, Jay immediately went like this.
Oh, did you?
When I said it?
Don't
He
they do it
was
like this? Or is it like this? I thought it was like this.
Palms in.
palms in. I don't know.
Palms in.
I'm not the Dragon Ballophile. So the daylight fills this entire space, right? Suddenly blinding, and it's kind of. So I'll say this actually: if you throw it into the muck, right? I say muck. It is sewer water, right? So it's not like a thick mud or anything like that. It shines out from it, but it's clearly encapsulated partially by it, right? It does kind of dim the effect, but it's clear that almost immediately.
I'm envisioning like a fountain at night, like those green
Yeah,
ones
yeah.
where there's a light underneath.
Absolutely, and it does that, right? But you can see almost immediately it's already trying to kind of like rise up out of the water, right? It's just doing it slowly. So in this moment, there is a happens. So think about this.
I always like those moments when a
Right.
DM says happens.
Let me think about this. So just to kind of recapsulate what's going on in this room, right? So you know the area that you guys are on, right? This closer area is more shallow, and the far area is deeper, right? Significantly deeper. And then a little ways, probably 2/3 of the way into the room, into this sunken room, is this statue of a fishman, right? But the head is turned around, right? It's facing the wrong direction compared to the body, and one of the 4 arms is missing. Okay.
3 arms.
And it's nowhere to be seen, right? There's just, you see this cracked, situation. But almost immediately upon this flash of light, let me actually do this real quick. Oh, wrong thing. Yeah. That. Ooh, look at me using tools. All right, so this situation. Matashtai, I need you to roll an intelligence saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hey, it wasn't awful.
Hey, very nice. So you feel this intense intrusion into your mind, right? And you feel this overwhelming presence try to. It literally feels like you would imagine taking like an orange or something equivalent, right? And try to squeeze on it as hard as you can. But whatever this presence is trying to do that to your brain, right? But you are able to resist the. You are able to put up a resistance. So you only take 3 psychic damage.
I also, because I forgot this last time, have resistance to psychic damage,
which
as
is
a flash tar.
great to know, right? So yeah, so that's the thing, right? How does that work out, right? You have this dual spirit presence with
So,
you.
I like to think at this point my Kuori spirit actually flashes for a moment and rebuffs psychic energy.
Sounds great.
So you guys see just for like a fraction of a second, honestly, this image of a tall, statuesque, almost like queenly woman in long flowing gown, with really, really long hair, which actually looks like it's moving in the wind, kind of hold out her hand and reduce some of the damage.
That sounds awesome.
So this is basically your stand.
Kind of, I guess.
You got a JoJo pose though.
Jojo, I just Matt's just standing there like.
I have a series of audio that's just not working. I'm gonna refresh real quick. See if there's some sort of issue that is happening with my Roll20. Okay, so what is your response to this, right? So this this spirit kind of like intercepts some of the damage and shoves it away. What? That's the first time. What? Oh.
So is it 1 damage then?
Yeah, so it would be reduced to 1 damage. One?
Yeah.
1 damage.
That's a rare resistance to see.
It is.
Yeah, I
resistance
think
is
flash
rare.
stars are the only ones I've seen that have it.
I think don't GIF have it? Or GIF
Oh,
Yankee?
they might because
Gith
they fight
Yankee?
mind flayers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would make sense.
I'm not 100% on that. I just think they might.
I think you may be correct.
That sounds right.
Alright, where's my music? Why are you all reordered? What's going on here? Oh. I closed the wrong one, damn it.
No, actually, they don't have it. That's surprising.
My life.
No,
Just back to camp.
I think the caveat is they're also psionics a lot of times, so
Yeah.
rather than develop a defense against psionics, they're like, fuck it, use that.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Okay. Maybe. Man, Roll20, you're killing me right now. Come on. There we go.
Come on.
There we go. Alright, so you guys are there. Hey, my music works. Yay.
Hey, we got music.
That's all I wanted. I just wanted my frudgin' music to work. Okay, so this psychic assault is sent out towards you, right? I want probably only people that are gonna have a chance at this, right? Because just the nature of how this is positioned, Ashes and Ezrah are behind. So I need perception checks from Bones and Matashtai.
Perception. Boom.
Wow, we
Wow.
both rolled an 11.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna do this is I'm losing my mind. There we go. Ah, there it is. Yeah, well actually, hold that thought. I'm gonna do that with disadvantage. Okay. Because of the blinding light radiating out of the pool, there is a dark form next to the statue, the fishman, the Sohagan statue. There's a dark form in the water. You can't make out what it is, right? It's just this dark, shadowy thing. And the only reason, legitimately, you would not see this, because it rolled a higher stealth than your perceptions, you wouldn't see it except for the fact that the daylight is radiating out. So it's basically creating the shadow in the water.
Hell yeah. Okay. I yell, get it!
Get some. Back up.
all right. So let's just do this. Let's have everyone select their tokens and roll initiative, and we'll see how this plays out. Okie dokie. You guys still don't actually see what you're fighting. Ooh. But you can kind of see where it is. So Bones, you can see just here, right at the southwestern portion of the statue, right? There's this dark shape in the water. What do you want to do?
I'm trying to grapple hook it.
Okay, so how long's the grappling hook?
Long as fuck. I
Oh,
don't know.
It's definitely long to there.
I'm sure it
It's
is.
not in the.
I think it's at least 30 feet.
Ah,
I think a grappling hook is just a hook.
I think a grappling hook is just the grappling hook, so it depends on
Somebody
the
handed me a
length
hook and
of
applied
rope
those
attached
hooks
to
on
it, right?
I just
Who
assumed
carries
it was
around a
like-
hook without a rope?
Well, no, I assume that there is a length of rope attached to it. I just don't know how
Fine,
long
fine, you
the
have my
length of rope
100
is.
foot of rope with it.
Okay,
I
so
have
there's
100
100 feet of rope on it, so easily in range for your grappling hook. I don't think you could throw 100 feet, but easily in range for your
I don't
grappling
know how
hook.
many feet I can throw.
That is true.
I feel like we do. I feel like we
Yeah.
could
I
math it
feel
out.
like we can calculate it,
Yeah,
actually.
I feel like that's probably right.
But I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna say, make a improvised weapon check.
Okay, what the? That's just a weapon that I'm not proficient with.
Yes, sir. I'm sure
Roll a
there are
D20 plus your
actual.
strength mod.
Huh?
Why is it my strength if it's a ranged weapon, ranged attack?
Well,
Is
that's
it my
up to you.
strength or my
Is it
dexterity?
finesse or is it?
Doesn't it's ranged?
What up? Just roll a d20 for me. Like it doesn't have to be a big thing. Like if it gets close, then we'll actually do math. If you roll the
does have to
4,
be a
so
big
it's
thing.
irrelevant. That's why I was
time?
like, yeah, sure, this time, but that's why we don't have to make it a big deal, because if you just roll it, it's a 4, we'll move on to the next
Be a
time.
big deal.
No. So Bones, you throw out this grappling hook, and it goes the distance, but it doesn't go the distance with any real amount of accuracy, and it basically just splashes into the water near this dark shape, right? which kind of sends rippling waves of sludge in the daylight, kind of like careening past this thing, which kind of helps to dissipate it. You realize if you guys don't get a handle on it soon, it might be able to conceal itself in the dark waters again. So, that is your turn, or are you doing anything else?
Can I reel it back?
Sure. Like reloading a crossbow.
I reel it back.
You reload your grappling bow.
I'm reload.
Gotcha. All right.
I duck down so Ashes can take a shot.
Ashes. You see Bones toss this grappling hook out, and you hear this great splash, and then he just reels it in, and there's nothing. So, assumption
I've got
failure.
one too. Do you want me to try? Either that or I could just shoot it.
Okay.
That sounds like an
Both.
Ash's decision in the heat of combat. What would he do?
Ashes
Jump
already
in.
has a crossbow out.
Jump
so
in
he's
and
supposed
try
to
and
shoot
wrestle
the
it.
Son of a bitch. If he can
Ashes,
see
what
it,
are you
he's gonna
doing?
Shoot at it. Can I move into Bones' space to take the shot and then move out?
Yeah, in theory.
Okay. Well then,
You move
I'll
into
step
wrestling
up.
range.
Yeah, so
Oh.
you step up, and you can kind of see this thing. You're gonna have disadvantage on your attack.
okay. Disadvantage. Shot.
So
Well, that's
so you see like
Super unfortunate.
Matashtai and Bones are kind of like pointing, and you see this kind of darkened figure in the water. So you bring up the crossbow and pull the trigger. Bolt flies out and into the water, but it doesn't seem like it's actually done anything.
I reload my crossbow and end my turn.
Okay,
Damn, bitch made.
Actually,
Matashtai.
How deep
My
is
turn?
how deep is the water on our end?
So it's very shallow on the western wall. Let me double check real quick.
Because
You say west, you mean north?
Or eastern. Sorry, it's
Oh,
shallow
here?
on the eastern wall. So yeah, over here, it is the most shallow, and then the further you go west, the deeper it gets.
so
Alright.
how shallow is just? up
I'm
here?
double checking just to make sure. So right here, this furthest eastern section is just a few inches, and basically every 5 feet, it gets deeper about by 6 inches. So to right here, right? So this is basically 6 feet, or so 6 feet. It's immediately 6 feet deep. So this is about 6 inches. This is about a foot.
6 foot.
Right here is about a foot
So
and
every
a half.
10 feet is another foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, every 10
Okay.
feet is about another foot.
Then actually, what Ashes is going to do instead is step out into the water
Okay.
about right now. Not super
Immediately
deep.
goes splashing through the sewage water. It is foul. It is disgusting. There are things floating in here. You can see on this far wall, right? The far wall down here, that there are kind of like rivulets of seepage coming through the wall, like it's near some sort of sewer section or something like that.
Okay, and actually, you know what I'm gonna do is instead of reloading my crossbow, I'm going to stow it instead.
Okay.
As,
Gotcha.
as my free action to interact with an item.
Sounds good. Anything
And
else for
then
your
I'll
turn?
end turn.
Matashtai, you are up.
I'm going to draw a Tanbakiri
Okay.
and run and throw myself out at the thing.
Good lord.
Okay, so
Good
immediately,
lord.
right? That's 1 foot, 2 feet. So right where you're at is 2.5 feet deep, right?
Okay, that's not
Past
so-
that, once you get to 3 feet, it's difficult terrain because you don't have a swim speed.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it's basically at that point you're like wading through the water, and it's to the point to where you're like meeting resistance, right?
Okay.
Okay, so you hurl yourself in with your spear raised, right? And immediately like sink down almost
That
to like
was-
the hip, right? And what do you want to do?
I would like to take Tamakiri, start stabbing down.
So it's over here.
Oh, I thought you said it was right.
No,
here.
no, the
Oh, it's over
southwestern portion of the
there.
statue.
Okay, so how far did I go?
You went. You didn't go very far.
That was 15 feet.
Yeah, you went 15
15.
feet. So the next
So-
one is still just 5. After that, it's 10 per square.
Oh, then I should be able to get.
So
in
you should
range.
be able to get right on top of where this. So, but now, right now, you're 3.5 feet deep. So the water's basically like up around
It's like
your
right up to my
stomach.
belly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're having to like.
At this point, I'm just. So I think it makes the most sense for me to be one-handing it because then I
Sure.
can just like stab down on it.
Okay, have at it.
Like at the
You are not deep enough that it will cause disadvantage on the attack. But if you
Okay.
were to go much deeper, you would have disadvantage on your melee attacks.
Okay.
Actually, you wouldn't because you're using a spear in water, so never mind.
Stab. Oh, so then could I two-handed be fine?
Yeah, you can two-handed be fine right now.
Sorry, just a
Yeah.
second.
Absolutely.
Ah, it's a natural 1. It does nothing. There's a 3. I do nothing. 'cause
Oh
I
goodness. Now, the natural 1, I need you to roll a d20 and see if you confirm the
You
crit.
are such a nice DM.
What? Okay, so you do not confirm the crit. Okay. The 11 actually hits.
What?
Yeah, so the first one, right, you go to like stab at it and you kind of like slip because you're kind of like rushing in through the water and you realize what you're kind of standing on is kind of sludgy, so the surface is very slick. So as you plant your feet and go to thrust down, right, you kind of lose your footing and but you recover and then thrust again. And this one actually lands a blow into this kind of inky black mass in the water in front of you. But it doesn't... It meets a very strange type of resistance. It doesn't meet the resistance of flesh or hide.
Fucking ooze.
It meets this kind of like, you feel this
discus.
you feel this tension, right? And then this release, and suddenly like you hit and then push through, and it's almost as if the spear gets sucked forward. Almost sucks it like out of your hands, but you're able to kind of like recover, right? But yeah, whatever you have hit, this big bulbous viscous form in the water in front of you, is not your normal creature.
Oh, yeah,
Perfect. So it's probably just like an awful idea to try and kick it.
You do you?
I'm gonna try it.
You're gonna try to kick it underwater.
Have
Yeah,
at it.
I'm gonna try and kick it.
Now, I will
Underwater.
say this, unlike your spear attacks, trying to kick it when you're 3.5 feet deep and you're underwater, that
What
will
if I
be
people's elbow it?
that's still going to be disadvantage attacks. So you get past because spears don't have disadvantage underwater because they're pokey weapons, right? Most pokey weapons
Sure.
are still good underwater. But it's like being a kid in a swimming pool where you're trying to do Mortal Kombat moves, right? You're trying to
Sure.
kick real hard,
Then-
but it's like
Then you know what? Instead, I don't think it'll matter because this thing's attacking my mind, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to use my bonus action and expend a key point to patient defense. So
Okay.
I'm actually going to kind of drop into a stance in the water and wait for it to move.
By all means, sounds good. Oh, okie dokie. Ezra, the battle is on. Some of your allies have waded into the sewage water. Foul vapors are rising up into the air around you. Matashtai seems to have closed on something and is just viciously stabbing at it, but you can't really see if anything's being successful from your vantage.
So, seeing that the water is only about halfway up Matt's body,
Sure.
and this creature is submersed,
Yes.
can I get any perspective on how big this creature is?
Well, the further to the west the water goes, the deeper it gets. So you can probably surmise that the furthest point is maybe 5 feet deep or so. So this creature could be just very long, and a good portion of it could be hiding in the deeper portions of the water. Or it could be a smaller creature hiding in that kind of like 3.5, 4 foot area, right?
And we didn't hear any squealing or squawking or anything.
No,
While he was
no
still-
real noises or anything like that to speak of.
Do I have any sort of a beat on the creature?
Matashtai's positioning along with the statue is basically giving it 3/4 cover. Just because like bodies being in your way. So you can't
But I have
really
an idea that it's there.
You have an idea that it's there because Matashtai is going like this. And so yeah, if you want to just be like, all right, this area, missiles. Right? So they kind of like cascade out and up and over Matashtai, right? And then just
That was a good magic missile.
into the water. Matashtai, you watch these orbs just kind of like fly up, and you're kind of like hacking, and you like pull back into a defense, and you're waiting, and you see this form begin to rise, right, and ripple in the water in front of you, and then there's just there's these detonations in the water in front of you as all of these magic missiles pummel the creature. And they do, after doing so, right? You see these large sections of grayish goop begin to rise out of the water.
Gross.
Until you see before you, right? It's kind of like floating on the surface of this disgusting, slick sewer water. It almost looks like little sections of, like, gray, rotten fat, right? That's kind of like floating on the water. And you feel, I'm going to say that you feel this because of your Halaster ancestor. You feel this kind of like wave, this ripple of psychic energy wash off of the remnants of this creature, of this psychic gray ooze.
Ooh.
And that's it. That's
Is dead? We killed it?
nothing. A few moments pass, right? And nothing else attacks you from the water.
Hell yeah, dude! I contributed so fucking hard.
So,
Ooh, I love it.
this thing is, I mean, you guys have seen oozes before, but there's a handout. This is the handout for the gray ooze. And the thing about it is they have to put it on something because it's literally just news, right? So it needs some sort of
Yeah,
background.
the wall.
So you're just watching, right? The wall is obviously not there, right? But there's just these slick chunks of like gray gelatinous mass floating in the water, and they're all like the detonation from the magic missiles basically like blew it into a bunch of fat chunks. Right, and they're all just kind of floating on the water, and you can see they're slowly like losing their connectivity.
Viscosity?
So they're like the bigger chunks are holding together, but the edges are kind of like bleeding into the water around it, and it looks like oil, right? It looks like it's turning into this oil slick on the surface of the water.
Gross. I'm standing in poop water, and that's gross.
Yeah, right. So
Good job.
for
guys.
defeating
Is everyone good? Is everyone okay?
I'll look back.
Yeah, my god.
this one went much better this time around than
Yeah,
previously.
no, frickin' Matt didn't take 30 points of damage in 12
He took
seconds.
like 8 the first time. It was
Nah.
fine.
No, it was at least 16, dude.
No, it was massive.
It was a
Well, it can
lot.
only
It was
do
enough to knock me unconscious.
it can only do like 3d6.
Yeah.
So he did
that.
he did it
He-
once.
It was
Well,
twice.
it was twice. That was the thing. I think the first time it was a hefty chunk of damage, but the second time it also did a hefty chunk of damage, and I think that was what spurred the rout. Right? It wasn't that you just got hit once; it was that it did it again.
Yeah.
Much like your mother.
Your
I
mum,
also should have remembered
Mother
my
Trebek.
psychic resistance then.
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. But you know, so now, right? Before we go further, everyone can add 125 experience for the psychic ooze.
125.
200 more.
And then, so in this moment, right, that you are so near the statue,
Oh god.
Matashtai, you can see, so the whole thing kind of, it glows this dim purple. And since you are kind of close enough to see partially the opposite side, right? Because the eastern side are the raised arms, right? One broken off. But the head is flipped, turning the western wall. So where you're at, you can just see the western wall, and you see it is actually this, it's this opened mouth fish head thing.
What's in the middle?
There is a dim, you can't see, but there is a dim glow. This purple glow that's coming from the whole thing is coming more brightly from this open mouth.
I start crawling up. I look back and I say, looks like there's something in the mouth there.
Oh yeah, stick your hand in its mouth.
Here, I'm gonna move my way up.
Start wading over.
Yeah, because
Deeper
I
into
don't
the
want
water.
something to happen and
Sure.
he be by himself.
By all means.
All right, I'm coming.
I look back and I say, what, you ain't never worked on a farm?
Do you have this the sense of smell equal to that of a wolf?
Do you?
Jeremy, do I?
I think
Did we
He
determine?
does have keen senses.
I was gonna say, did we?
Yeah,
That's yeah, that's outside of your form.
Outside of
Yeah, then 100%. You
heightened
basically have a
senses, yeah.
wolf's nose or a
But
dog's
wouldn't- okay.
nose.
Argument here, just for a moment. Wouldn't, if everything smelled stronger, wouldn't you have a better tolerance of smells just in general?
More than likely, yes.
I don't understand where this is going.
So it's basically like we as humans think, oh, if I had better smells, then I'd get disgusted by such strong smells. But if you always have better smells, that's the argument Mitch is saying. If you always smell more acutely, then wouldn't you be used to that by now? It's not like you don't poop. It's not like you've never been around sewage, you know.
Like,
But-
dogs be sniffing butts all day.
They do. Dogs do be sniffing butts all day.
Yeah, but they like that.
I don't like where this conversation's going.
It is entirely in your power to
They are calling
roleplay
you a butt sniffer.
to
Jake.
roleplay
Yeah,
that
butt
Ashes
sniffer. How
thinks
dare
it
you?
is very
Butt sniffer
stinky down here.
ashes.
I will not stand for this.
No, you
wanna,
will stay seated.
As soon as Matt starts trying to climb up the statue, I grab his ankles and just lean back and throw him into the muck.
Oh Jesus! Oh no!
All
No.
right.
This
All right.
Is this actually happening?
No, that's not.
Okay. That sounds salty. All right, so Matashtai, Ashes, you close the distance. Matashtai is climbing up there. So you see, right? It's not really a hidden secret or anything like that, but you see, within the open, it's a false mouth, right? So it's this scary fishman head, right? That's perfectly crafted, very representative of what you would imagine it looks like. But the mouth is missing. It's just this, like, half cylindrical section that's just carved out with the metal completely open, and you can see it's dark, right? There's this faint purple glow permeating from it, but there is a hole, right? There's a interior portion inside the mouth section, right? And then there's a hole that goes down like it would be a throat. And you can see this faint glow coming up out of that throat.
Getting close. Look down the hole. Can I
You
see
can't
any?
see. Yeah, the hole itself, right? The mouth is only about this big. So you can get right up in it, but you can't see down the hole. You could put a hand in and down the hole. That is possible, like physically, but
Hey, Ezra.
Yeah.
You gotta see where you make that magic hand go.
In theory, no.
You wanna go spelunking with that bad boy?
I mean, it has to stay within 30 feet of me. What do you have in mind?
It looks like there's something down this thing's throat, and I'll be honest, I don't want to put my hand down there.
Put it up his ass. Fine.
Jeremy, how close do I have to get for this to work?
you could. Well, so it would be. It's going to be a very weird thing. So I'm gonna
hard thing, I think, is
reposition
from
people.
there.
I'm gonna
I
reposition
don't know
people.
that you'd be able to like see where you need to
So
position. the
oh,
hand.
absolutely not. So if you swap
why I asked
positions
for
with
that.
Bones, right? Assuming that Ezra does not want to get into the water, absolutely does not want to get into the water.
He just doesn't want to.
So you
walk-
could,
I
if
walk
you
back
get into the
over
water,
here.
right?
And I let him get on my shoulders.
No, you're good.
If you get in the water, you can just do it. But if you want to avoid getting in the water, you can attempt to do it from this location. It's just going to be someone is going to have to be your eyes to tell you where to move the hand.
Okay, I can do that.
So it's gonna.
Where do I need to be, Jeremy?
I think
To-
you're fine there.
Like there?
No,
Oh,
he said you didn't have to be in the water.
yeah. So here's the thing: if you want to, if you are okay getting in the water, so let me rephrase this. The only way you're gonna get into a position to be able to see what you need to do is to get in front of the statue, right? If you don't want to go all the way over there and get in front of the statue, then you're gonna need someone to be your eyes to kind of like guide. Say, okay, move the hand a little left. All right, you're in front of the mouth. Move it back towards you. A little more. Okay, you're in the
Deeper.
mouth. You're in the mouth.
Deeper.
Okay, so now you want to go
Back
straight
out.
down,
Now back in.
Yeah.
right? You basically
Yeah.
do that thing.
Now make it fast.
So that's how you could do it from a distance. That's the only way you're gonna really be able to see to do it from a distance, right? Is if someone guides you. But if you don't care at this point and you're just like, fuck it, I'll just go over there. You can just go over there and use the mage hand to go spelunky.
I have prestidigitate. I will.
Okay, so Ezra begrudgingly, right? He thinks about it. He thinks his options through it, and then he just gets in the water and starts trudging over, and it gets deeper and deeper, and it gets up to like Ezra's chest, and he's having to like scramble up onto the statue, right? Because
It's pretty short.
because the
so-
statue is also up to its chest in this murky water, basically, right? So you kind of have to like scrabble in front of it, and you're having to like look up, right? And then you can guide the mage hand into the mouth and then down this tube. The tube.
Even Jay is taller than Ezra.
Yeah. And then you can go fishing. And what you bring up, Ezra, is you actually bring up this this blackish purple handle. And
I
it
put it in
is
front of Matt.
it is glossy, smooth. There are no imperfections on its surface at all, right? There's no carvings, no markings, no sigils, nothing. There is this little white tip of a wick at the very end of it, and it's not like a candelabra. It's not like a long, thin. It's a short, fat, round candle.
Got a mushroom tip?
So
No, it does not have a mushroom tip.
It's on a candlestick.
It would. It's not on one currently, but in theory
Oh.
it would, right? And it's
I kinda look at the
completely
group and I
unmarred.
say,
There is no glow
touch it.
emitting from it or anything like that.
Wait, there's
Seems
no
like
glow
a
now?
magical light.
Well, the statue is still glowing, right? Still dimly glowing purple, but the candle doesn't glow. And the intensity of the light, right, that was kind of like glowing out of the mouth of the statue, has not diminished.
Do we want to write that?
Yeah,
What's
let's
that?
light it.
Light it?
Because that
Or
no, right the head, because it's technically like it's got its head like
Yeah. Its
180.
head's
All right. Well,
completely spun
ashes.
around.
hold that for a second and then reach up and just.
So
Check.
you go to do it, right, and it immediately kind of like resists. It's clearly like either rusted in place or just very finicky. It doesn't just smoothly turn. So there is some resistance. Do you want to force it?
Ezra steps.
Oh yeah, no consent, baby. Force it.
Come on, Zag.
What?
Jesus. I ask for consent and then turn that.
Thank you. All right, so you do, right? You kind of like plant yourself and begin to slowly there's this just kind of whine of grating metal, right? And slowly you spin the head around, right? There's some sort of mechanism where it basically just turns on the axis, right? And then it kind of like it doesn't lock in place, but you clearly find the end right where it won't rotate anymore. And then it sets in place, and the head with its open mouth is now facing the same direction as the arms.
All right, Ezra. What now?
What?
What?
Get your ass over here.
I mean, sometimes when you do stuff like that, things happen, and I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't affected, so I could help when
Remember that one time Ezra got attacked because he was so far in the rear?
Yep.
That time Ezra
Learned
nearly
nothing
died.
from that.
Yeah, the one time out of how many fights we have had that this happened.
I'm gonna have to rethink that strategy. Start doing that more frequently.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, what do you guys
One more
want
level, and I've got my defenses in line. I'm good to go.
to do? You just have to make it to that level alive.
That's right.
Dun.
That is very true,
It's true.
Jeremy.
Okay.
All right.
Does
So-
anybody have a way to light this candle?
Is it still glowing?
Well,
Yeah,
let's not
the
light
whole-
it right here.
Whole statue is still dimly glowing purple.
I mean, I can light a candle with prestidigitate. So-
Oh, yeah, that's true.
My candle.
All right. Light the candle that your hand's holding.
So with my mage hand, is the statue still glowing? Is the moss still emanating a
Well, it's not.
Guys,
It's
are
not
all
moss. It's not covered in. It's not covered in moss or anything like that.
maw?
Maw. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The whole thing is still dimly glowing, and the mouth is still slightly more radiant than the rest of the statue.
So Ezra would light the candle with prestidigitate while he's holding it with his mage hand.
It burns black flame.
Oh,
That seems really bad.
And
Sorry,
then I'm
sorry.
gonna stick the
Ooh.
candle
All
back
right,
in
that
the
ain't
mouth.
right.
I mean, I saw the.
Is anyone
the
else
move-
feeling? Is anyone feeling hocus pocus? A little Halloween.
Yeah.
We're getting
I
close,
actually
boys.
just watched that last night.
Yeah,
Oh shit!
I have
Is
to-
Ezra
don't worry.
A virgin?
It's gonna. Oh, no, but Ashes is.
Yes,
Oh, the sisters are coming back.
I
Oh, shit,
considered.
the
I
Sanderson
consider. I've been
sisters.
considering doing a hocus pocus Halloween episode. I do love that movie. Anyways, though,
Jessica Parker's best film.
So the candle lights, right? There is this black, perfectly formed, perfectly symmetrical, unflickering flame. That burns from this candle.
Sweet.
Cool. I put it in the
Alright.
mall.
It's a little bit concerning. You wait, oh what?
The spectral hand goes, floats it into the mouth, right?
I'm standing on this thing.
Yeah, basically. And the light now within the maw it seems like it is amplified tenfold, right? And that dim purple radiance becomes this almost kind of like beacon cone of purple light.
I look to the wall that the light was shining at. Is there any symbols on the wall that are shown by this weird light?
No.
Ooh, I turn the head more. I turn the head back.
Okay. So as you turn the head back, right, towards, so it's now facing the east. It was facing the west, right? As you turn the head back, it actually turns towards the north, right? It goes this way as it's turning. And as you turn the head back, you see the wall to the north, right? A little shelf as the light blossoms across it. It shimmers and dissipates. And there is a what looks to be like maybe 5.5 to 6 foot long wall shelf, almost like a crypt.
Oh.
And
Okay.
it is
What's the wall shelf?
like so like if you
Like
go
when
into
put a dead body.
yeah,
like
well, like
in a
where you put a dead body, like if you go into a large crypt and they have the
Oh.
dead bodies that are stacked in the
Oh, yeah,
walls,
yeah,
those types of
yeah.
things. It looks like that. It's about the same height and width that you would put a body in, and it is bare bones, completely cleaned, nothing in it but dust.
Bullshit. Yeah, keep the head right there for a second. I'm gonna swing around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of wade through here.
Sure.
It said it was on the north side,
Yep.
so like here-ish.
Yep.
Okay. I'll
The water
I'll
is
start- I'll-
deep here. It is 3.5, almost 4 feet deep,
I'll
right?
grab onto the base
Yeah.
of the shelf, kind of hold myself up, and then pat it down with my tail to see if I can't feel out
Your
anything.
tail, which has been in the murk this entire time,
I'll whip it around, kind of all the gunk off.
kind of fling
Hey,
it off.
hey.
So you start to
What's
pat
the
around,
story of that?
and
You never worked on
your
a farm?
previously just coated damp tail begins to, you basically like start to create little streaks of mud, right? Because this shelf is filled with dust. And you don't find anything. There's nothing in here.
I'll take a deep breath in.
Oh yeah, just clouds fly up in your face. Yeah, it's allergy city. Sneezing and coughing for days to come. It just looks like someone else got here first.
Maybe we use the candle elsewhere in the dungeon and we'll find other openings.
errands.
So I'm assuming this part right over here is like deep.
Yeah, so it's about 5 to 6 feet deep, way in those back corners. So I will say this: everyone gains I can't spell. How do you spell that word? Sahwagen.
Sa, S-A-H-A-U-G.
I-N-I-N-I-N.
Everyone gets 100 experience for solving the Sahwagen puzzle.
We did it, boys.
Unfortunately, though, there seems to be no treasure or loot to
Hey
find.
guys, I found
Man, why
100
the fuck-
experience in here.
So you guys are rewarded for your efforts and for figuring out the puzzle, right? But adventurers long before you have done the same thing.
Can we keep
You
the
are
candle? Because I feel like it would really fit the tavern aesthetic.
Creepy?
Yeah.
Are you just asking me, or are you asking the party?
No, the party. Well, sorry. Hey, I think this candle here would make a real nice addition to the tavern. What you boys think?
What if it's evil?
Just
Well.
because it's black doesn't mean it's evil.
Most assuredly.
We've got a ghost, so
Yeah, he's not. What if it makes him evil?
then was he that good to start with?
I mean, can it be any worse than? Oh yeah. By the way, I don't think we mentioned this, but apparently before we had it, a hag was eating children in our tavern.
Wait,
Oh,
It
yeah.
can't be worse than that.
That was a thing.
Yeah.
one more time.
So
We get out of the poop.
Do you guys want to take this out of the
Does-
sewer?
does
And
Has anyone looked down that passage? Does it end up with a wall, or Someone
Fuck
is
it.
probably
I'd hop
bored.
in. I swim on over here. I take a look real
Okay.
quick.
I haven't been in the
Yeah.
poop. I refuse to be in it.
it is very deep here. You are having to tread water, right?
Yep. I'm sure it's fucking great.
And it seems as though, how intensely are you going to investigate this area? Are you just taking cursory glances, trying to see if there's anything, or are you
I'm gonna get over here. I'm gonna tread water. I'm gonna kind of like kick out with my feet.
roll me an
See if I can,
investigation?
and all of a sudden you see.
Investigation. Perfect.
So you find no secret passages, no tunnels or anything like that, but it's pretty clear there's suction, right? There is a flow of water. There's definitely at least some cracks in the surface or the wall or something like that that's causing this area to pool but not flood entirely, right? So water is leaving from this kind of location. It's just probably trickling out somewhere.
All right. Let's get the hell out of here.
I get the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Wait on
Ezra
over.
will extract the candle from the.
Okay, so
and
you
then
pull it
put
back out
with
with the mage hand.
prestidigitate.
It has not melted the wax at all.
Oh, okay.
As I get out of the fucking water over here by ashes, I look at him and say, "All right, that was all bravado. This is disgusting. This
Yes.
is really bad.
Yes, it is.
This is really bad."
Do we spend
Hey.
the next like 10 minutes
Hey,
with
Ezra.
Ezra trying to prestidigitate
Help.
everyone?
Help us! We smell like shit.
Can we assume that is going to happen?
I
Yep.
go away from
Yep.
them.
You know what the
Okay.
worst part is Matt literally wears white clothing.
Oh yeah.
Not
Like,
Yeah,
anymore.
you
No,
look
it's
horrible
just-
right now.
It is
Uh,
awful.
but the prestidigitation will take care. It's not like perfect dry cleaning, but it will take care of the smell.
As
We'll cleanse
Ezra
you off.
is holding out the candle with his mage hand for someone to.
I
that's
open up
Matt.
my bag of holding.
I drop it in there.
Okay. Notate that you have one
super
black
evil
flame
hand.
candle.
Okay.
It's a Roman
Does it produce
candle.
light when it? Did it produce light when it was lit?
Yeah.
How heavy is it?
Faint. It is a pound.
Oh shit!
It is a
That's
it is a
pretty
chunker.
decently sized.
This is a chonky candle.
So do I need to hit prestidigitate how many times I
No,
use
you
it?
do
Just
not.
like
Please do not spam my
Yeah,
chat with
go ahead and hit it
prestidigitation.
50
But I
times.
am. You guys were talking previously, so I'm gonna assume right while Ashes and Matashtai are relating the story, Ezra, you're just prestidigitating the entire time, getting everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we get back out in the hall, I'm assuming, and Matt
sounds
says, I mean, Ashes, unless you want to tell the story, but so apparently, I can't remember her name now.
Abaya.
Oh
Stone,
no,
Stone Marrow, Miss Stone.
Stone.
Ohkorea.
Ohkorea, yeah. Well, she was telling us when she was at the tavern, you know, requesting our services, that apparently at one point the Troll Skull Manor was a orphanage
Correct.
run
Yes.
by some old lady who turned out to be a hag in more ways than one, who decided that eating children was a good idea. She'd take them down in the basement, cook them up. I guess that went on for a while.
That's
Yeah.
intense. Did she give the name of the orphanage? Because that's something I would.
Troll Skull.
Skull.
I think it was Troll Skull Orphanage.
It was definitely Troll Skull. It was the Troll Skull Orphanage.
Hey,
She did warn us that if you're doing any excavating or expansion down in the basement, you might want to be careful which way you go.
why?
Seems a bit of it was sealed off, where she did the real cooking. It was a real Sweeney Todd situation.
We would find. I don't know who this Todd fellow is, but so you're saying we would find the remains of these children, or there's something more to it, or
She didn't tell us much more.
You'll
than
have to forgive me. I didn't ask that much into it.
I mean, we kind of own this place together. That might have been
Yeah, let's not dig.
pertinent information.
Let's not dig.
Unless something digs itself out, and we could have been prepared for it.
Well, how are you gonna prepare? Are you gonna dig up the graves of these children? Because I'll be honest, that
They're
don't.
buried there. What do you
don't sound good to me.
mean?
Cine was apparently aware of this. Because
The city was aware of this.
yeah, it was Cine that kind of got that conversation going.
Yeah.
Well,
We need to have a conversation with.
I don't know if that's entirely right.
Well, I mean,
Cine seemed to know about the story.
Oh yeah, that's right, motherfucker.
That's right, motherfucker.
I don't know. I just felt like I hadn't participated in a while, to be honest with you.
from now on, whenever I'm quiet for a few minutes, I'm gonna chime in with a "That's right, motherfucker."
Hey. Making your daring entrance back into the fold.
I will,
yeah,
I will
just-
put a quill in that and come back to that later.
Oh yeah,
Something
we did
to-
learn that apparently the hag got her comeuppance. We
Oh
weren't.
yeah, she got cooked or
No. A summoner summoned some kind of demonic creature that I'm assuming tore her asunder. So
A summoner.
yeah. Somebody who did magical summoning stuff.
Also in our
rise,
basement.
Chicken, a rise.
well, I don't know if that part happened in our basement.
I am going to reiterate that we probably want to do some investigating.
No, it's
All right,
fine.
yeah, that'll be good.
I don't think we're legally
Because
liable.
if there is a portal to,
Y'all want to get a Ouija board and see what we can find out down there?
I don't know what a Ouija board is either. I don't know what your Aberranian folk.
Wednesday is the 30th, I believe, or the 30th is
So
Wednesday, I
close.
believe.
So close.
So close. We, well, that
Ouija
session
board
we just
session?
planned to make sure that that's the Ouija board investigation session.
Ouija board investigation session.
We'll see.
It's a section
All right, everyone's clean. What
So-
are we doing?
While this is happening, you guys, I don't have it.
Walking and talking.
No, hold
Can we-
up.
can we
You're
update
not walking
this
and
to-
talking.
You
You're
don't
not
know my
walking and
life?
talking.
What the fuck?
I know your life because you guys.
Technically, Bones didn't get dirty, so if he wants to walk
He
off,
can
while
walk
we're having
off
a
and talk,
story-
sure, but you guys specifically said you were going to go out to the hallway, tell this whole story, right, while you were doing the thing. So, we are going to start implementing, or I'm going to try to start implementing the time pool, and you guys just
Ooh.
earned yourself, so I'm going to be keeping
You're gonna have to
track of
remind me
it
about the rules on that.
on the turn order. So the time
Once you
pool
get
is...
so many dice, bad shit happens.
The time pool is very simple. It's basically as you guys spend time doing stuff like traveling or going from room to room or sitting there having a conversation about something, you accrue dice, right? So for your conversation there, you've accrued 1 time pool. If you get to 6, you roll all 6 dice. You get a 1, something happens, a complication arises, right? There are other times, if you guys do crazy dangerous shit, I might just roll however many dice are currently in the time pool. I might add 1. Actually, I can tell you exactly the rules. Here are the things I can do with the time pool. I can add a dice to the time pool, right? I can roll the
We're
pool.
being extra loud.
I can roll the pool. I can add a die and then roll the pool. Or I can roll the pool and clear the pool. If you get to 6, I automatically roll the pool and clear it out, right?
When you roll, does it clear every time?
No. It only
Okay.
clears when you get to 6. So you can, in succession, do shit that gets you tenser and tenser and more rolls all the way up to 6 and then try to be like real careful, but you know. If you guys are interested, here are the basic rules for the
I like it.
stuff.
I'm
so,
really excited
but
about it.
it's just going to be a different adaptation instead of just random monster rolls. It still functions along the similar, a lot of the similar
hold
lines,
up.
right?
I hold up my drift globe and I say, "In mind,
De-smelling it?
yeah, keep, like lavender. You got any lavender in there?"
Prestidigitating that too. Right. Awesome. Love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so as a kind of concept, because I want you guys to be aware of what I plan on doing, right? So there is still the risk for like random encounters and things like that. But what I'm gonna do now is whenever you guys decide, hey, we want to travel from this location to another location, like we want to travel back through places we've been through, right? If there's not already a static encounter there, like something has moved in since you've been gone, right? I will add a time pool dice and then roll the time pool, right? So let's, for example, right, you guys have earned 1 time pool dice from your scenario, and now you're going to be traveling. Where do you guys want to be traveling to?
Back down to
I wanna
the
go back
fucking
to the zigzag.
crossroads.
Okay.
All right, so we have 2 doors
Yep.
that we have not opened.
So
I'm
what we
zoomed
can
in,
do is we can basically fast travel there, but what I'll do, so instead of you guys having to spam click or spam move all over the place, what we'll do, all right, I'm going to add a dice to the time pool, and I'm going to roll the time pool. So currently we have 2 dice in there, so I'm going to roll 2d6. If we get a 1, you guys get a complication on the way there. Okay?
Wait, where are we going? Near where we fought the Grick?
So no complication there. You're going back to that V tunnel, right?
Where it
The
goes
one that I
like,
started to go down?
yeah, and then it goes.
So
Okay.
how about
I
we do
see.
this? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick you guys up and move you over
Oh, yeah,
here.
Move
Oh
me,
god, my
daddy.
light moved.
Yeah, your light's gonna move like crazy. Okay, so you guys are at that door just past the past
I
the
see.
Halaster portal area, right?
The tip of the zigzag is like right here.
Yeah, the tip of the zigzag's like right over there. So now there is a southern door here, and then there's the zigzag over there.
Have we not been south? Have we been south or not?
You guys have not been south.
Okay,
So
I see
real
the road
quick,
now.
just a second.
As we travel, I
mm,
kind of elbow Ezra and I say, "Nice job with the missiles back there,
never mind.
wimp." And I give him a wink.
Thanks. Good job getting into the thick of it. You definitely took one for the team there.
That's okay.
All part of working as a team.
So you're heading down, right? That's the plan, is to head down to this door.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So while you're there, there is a big stone door set into the hall here. It's not barred. It doesn't seem. It has a handle, right? But it's not like a twist. Or anything like that. It's just a kind of like a lever, right? That you would pull and it would open. So what do you do?
Let's lever it.
Lever action. Okay. So
Hold on. I learned this from Bones. I'm moving close. I listen.
okay, you move in close and listen. You can either take your passive perception, or if you're wanting to try to get higher, you can roll for me. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna go for higher.
Okay. See how it goes.
Sorry. There we go.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay. It happens. So you listen, right? And you don't hear really anything on the other side of the door. Like there's no ambient sound. There's no noise, white noise, chatter, movement. Nothing.
I look back at the group and I go, we really need to just set up hand signs, but I go like,
I have no fucking idea what that means. Breathing? Something's breathing?
So Bones is just there at the corner, just like, what?
loud, quiet.
Both?
I
Hippopotamus.
kick in the door. I literally just boot the door in.
So you
I don't know
were
what the-
asking.
that's-
I think he's trying to ask, do you guys want to be loud or do you want to be quiet? Like, do you
Oh,
want to
that
be
was
stealthy?
unclear.
Yeah, it wasn't.
asking-
But for future
It's too late now.
reference, yes.
For future reference.
So the door it's a sturdy door, but it's not a door meant to barricade anyone away. So as you put heel to door, there is a crack, right? And the door it doesn't swing open, it doesn't crash open, but it kind of lurches open, right? And you can see that you fucked up some sort of stone work on the edge of the door, right? Oh,
Good.
shit.
Good.
But
Goddamn barn.
as you kick the door open, a couple things are gonna happen. So let me read what you see, right?
30 fucking shots. Pow,
So,
pow, pow, pow.
so immediately, right, the first thing that catches your eye is on this western wall, right? There is a 30-foot wide floor-to-ceiling map carved into the west wall, and in the center, right, right about here of the room is just a 10-foot wide, like, open circular pit.
There's just a huge pit, like,
Yeah, 10-foot
Great.
wide, just black, like almost like Acme, like portal, like black circular portal, just in the center of the room.
so like that.
Like what? Yeah, like
I'll
right like
I'll
that.
give you a gold to jump in it.
Okay, so the carving right on the west wall, the elaborate image seems to be a cross-section map, right, of a great dungeon. At its top lies a great mountain and a splendid city. Stacked below these are 23 different hollowed-out dungeon levels. Each level has its own stylistic side view, but there are no names or details included to suggest what each level is called or what it contains. Okay?
Use the pen.
Yeah, just the freehand fill it in.
I'm trying to make circles. Shut up.
Oh,
Oh,
I
you-
have no idea what you're talking about.
in
He's
the
trying to
draw
fill in a
shape,
circle
in the
with
draw shape,
circles.
if you select a secondary color, it fills with that color.
What? Really?
So yeah, so if I select 2 sections of black, it fills with that color.
You motherfucker.
So, however, right, there are a few features, right, and I'm assuming you guys aren't just like standing there on the edge. You're kind of like trickling into the room slowly as you're seeing this.
Oh yeah, we're
Is
trickling.
that a fair assumption?
Wow, that's only incredibly easier.
Yes, significantly easier. That's what.
I had tricked.
So there are a couple of features that stand out as you guys are seeing this this cross section map, right? On the next to the 3rd level, right? 3rd level down is a bas relief of a flaming skull. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On next to the 16th level down is a bas relief of a comet. Okay. And then next to
Hold
the
on, can I pause you for just 1 second?
absolutely.
So like, make sure I understand correctly. So all along the walls are these.
This
different
wall,
levels,
just
right?
the western wall, from door here
Oh, just this
all the
wall?
way to the back, is just this
Okay.
full carved out cross section map of a dungeon.
And it's multiple. So, can we safely assume that it's like the Undermountain?
You can safely assume whatever the hell you
Okay.
want to safely assume.
So
that's
it's
what I'm
multiple
saying.
levels of the dungeon.
And
Say what?
Has,
You said it's levels of the dungeon.
So it has
Not just
at the top-
one level.
Absolutely. At the top, it has this great mountain and great splendiferous city, right? And then below that, it has a level. And then it'll have like a little connection, right? And then a level. And then like a little connection and a level. And then like a little connection and
this
a
is
level.
motherfucking way
And then
down
like
to the next
and then
level.
like
Alright.
2 connections and the next level, right? Rinse and repeat. So it's
Maybe,
this
maybe
full 23 level cross section map. And there are a couple things on the 3rd level. Next to the 3rd level is a bas relief of a flaming skull. Next to the 16th level is a bas relief of a comet. Next to the 23rd level is a bas relief of a tower that has a tiny rune engraved above it.
I grab Ezra and I pull him close.
Hi. Yeah.
What's that say?
What does it say?
Oh, the rune?
Yeah.
Roll me actually
Does it say "Speak the word friend and you may enter"?
roll me a history check. Ezra and Bones, you can roll me a history check too. Actually, Ezra, yours would be at
fucking
disadvantage, but a 13 or a 10 is not going to make it, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
Ugh.
historical baby.
Okay. So both of you have this kind of like inkling that you've seen this before, but you can't.
Can I have that instead?
No, you cannot. But you can't place. You can't place where it is. You've definitely seen this before somewhere, but you don't know where. It's not clicking, right?
Then at that, I'd actually like to pull out a piece of parchment and paint the rune.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
just take a copy of it.
Sure.
Does anything about this map trigger anything like the flame skull or the comet or any of that stuff? Does that mean anything to me?
Roll me an investigation check. I will say this: you're gonna have to get closer if you want to actually investigate things. You have to come into the room if you want to investigate things, Ezra. I see. He steps one square into the room.
Where is the relief? Sorry.
So no, they're all over the wall. It's it's simple enough. With a 15, you get it. You don't have. I mean, it seems like it's probably a cross-section map of Undermountain. Plausible, right? You have no real, like, there's nothing to compare it to. You have no real way to verify its authenticity, right? But as you are kind of like looking at it and kind of trying to work out parts and pieces, it becomes pretty apparent to you that these three things that stand out, the flaming skull, the comet, the tower, right? Each of them there are seams around them. They're buttons.
There are buttons?
Yeah. The skull, the comet, and the tower are buttons. And Ashes, how wide of a berth did you give that pit as you're walking around the room?
I'm gonna say 10 feet.
Okay, that's fine. So you can see.
I want to walk up close to it.
Okay. You walk up close to the pit that is not a pit, and I need everyone to select their. No, I'm kidding. It's a mimic. That would be a really cool mimic, actually, a pit mimic.
Okay, actually, I have to show you guys something. Keep talking, but I gotta find a link for you.
Dark Souls
Yeah.
ladder.
So,
Nope.
right, as you kind of come up to the edge of this pit, Matashtai, you can see that the pit drops 20 feet to a floor of uneven stone rubble, right? The sides are completely smooth and worn, making ascension without magic or some sort of climbing gear or something like that all but impossible. There are no footholds or anything like that. But
I'm a cat, though.
within the pits, staring back up at you,
Oh, what?
is a humanoid male with long, lean features. His face is swollen and bruised with a split lip where blood has long since dried, and this deep purple black eye. Dried blood covers the front of his tunic, and his skin is just pallid, and he looks up at you and raises his hand from the light kind of beaming down, right? And he looks up. Oh.
I immediately pull out a rope and drop it down to him.
Okay.
Actually, first, I tie a loop at the end for him to put his foot in, so that he doesn't have to climb.
Gotcha.
And then I drop it down to him.
What is
Wanna
everyone
say-
else doing? Sorry,
and
you
I say,
continue.
Oh, hey, there's a man!
Oh, hey, there's
Well,
a man!
I will immediately come assist.
Okay.
Oh,
Anybody
hey,
else?
There's a man.
Anybody else doing anything while Matashtai takes this moment to like loop some rope together, tie it off, and begin to lower it down the 20 feet to this end?
I'm gonna just walk around, see what else is going on. Oh, hey, look, another door.
Yes,
sad
there
loud.
is another door
I
there.
think that goes to the zigzag hall.
Would you like to open that door?
I don't. If I have time to, yeah, I'll open that.
But
door.
yeah, I mean, so they're trying to pull a man out of a pit. So yeah, you got time to do a little bit. So you're gonna.
Yeah, I open that door.
Tell
Okay.
Casey the yellow hair looks really
Mitch says he likes your yellow hair. It looks really cool. Technically, I kind of ad-libbed that, but he said your yellow hair looks really cool. Okay, so you open up this door, and you can see pretty shortly, right? You can confirm that there is the zigzag, zigzag-a-lag.
Yep, zigzag. Looks like the zigzag room. I shut that bitch.
Okay.
What? We don't
Oh,
want extra fucking points
shut
of
it?
egress.
Gotcha.
That's
Close
fair.
that.
That's fair.
This
That seems
door
bad.
isn't broken
Bad
now,
idea.
so you actually can shut it.
That's right. What happens when you don't kick everything in?
Unlike somebody.
All right. All right.
Fair. Okay. So Ezra, are you doing anything else specifically while Matt and Ashes are fishing out the source?
I'm just looking at the iconography.
Gotcha. So while this happens, right? You go through the motions, tying off this knot, lowering the rope down to this individual. His motions are slow and jerky, right?
So again, like I wanted to be clear that like I'm not trying to make this guy climb.
Yeah. You made a
put it
loop,
in.
right? So yeah. So and he understands that, and you can even explain. You can and so he's just. It's clear that he's exhausted, right? But he's not moving in such a manner as to insinuate that he is dying, right? Or that he is about to just expire, right? But he's just he looks stiff, right? Like he's just been resigned in this pit for quite some time. So it takes him a little bit of time to and take the rope, and he loops his wrist around it a couple times to try to make sure he can hold on, right? And he puts a
Right.
foot into it, right? He kind of looks up and he says, "Paul."
Sir.
And Ashes and Matashtai, this guy is he's not a waif. He's clearly lost some weight, right?
So
in the
I
time
don't know
that
if
he's
this
been
would make
down
a
here.
difference, make it harder or easier, but I'd like to kind of like use my foot to like pull out the rope away from the edge of the
Sure.
thing, kind of give it like a fulcrum, so it's easier for the two of us to pull.
Sure, yeah. And it'll help him have a little bit of leverage off the wall, though he can't really do much about it, right? He's more at the mercy. That's why he did the whole like loop his hand and everything like that.
Yeah.
So as you pull him up, right? It's not the hardest thing in the world, right? It's just one man and it's two of you pulling him up, so you can definitely do it. But he's not, even though he's clearly lost some weight and he's clearly not doing well. He's not light as a feather. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
Right? He doesn't have the weight of a man who's been starving for weeks, right? But as he rises up over the edge, right? You guys pull him over the lip, and he immediately kind of like he tries to get one arm up, and you can see two of his fingers seem to be horribly broken and twisted to the side, and they're just kind of like hanging jaggedly, right, on his left hand, and the whole rest of it is just bloody and purple, right? And it looks like portions of his skin have kind of maybe blackened a little bit, maybe like they've gone slightly necrotic from untreated wounds, right? He looks
like once we get him up,
really bad off.
I pull out my water skin, I hand it to him, and then I actually take the staff of healing.
Hey.
And so Matt doesn't cast magic.
Yeah.
So I like to think of his first attempt to try and use the staff is to go how he does things. And
Sure.
so he actually moves into a kata of like kind of like a water form to try and summon the magic towards him, and then
Okay.
touches the guy with the staff.
So the guy is he's not. So as soon as you hand him the water skin, he's kind of like gulping it, right? But also like he's clearing his throat as he does. Like it looks like he's not like you rescued the other guy, right? What's his name? Clem? Kellum.
We rescued a
You
clown.
rescued Kellum, right? The guy that was
Oh.
trapped over with the Grix, and he
Yeah.
gulped down the water. This guy is like taking these big gulps of water and then like swishing them around in his throat, and he's kind of like.
Got a bad case of cotton mouth.
So he's kind of distracted as
He's
you begin to
cotton
like
more.
go into coniform, and then you like reach out to touch him, and then so you kind of surprise him when you touch him, and you just casting cure wounds.
Yeah, I'm just cure woundsing him.
And so there's this moment right where like the staff touches the back of him, right? And he has this sudden right, and he just like freezes for a few moments, right? Like not just heartbeats, but like actual moments, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds pass, and then he goes
Gotta pat him on the back a little bit. Get it all out, buddy.
And so he goes through this fit where he coughs, and then he kind of like he stabilizes, and he kind of looks up at you. Who? What day is it?
I look at Ashes.
You look at Jay. It is October 19th.
October what?
19th.
So basically November 19th.
That.
And he
A+ roleplay.
Who are you?
Name's
Who
Matt.
are you?
Adventurers.
No, we need to know who you are. What do you mean? Pitman?
Looks past it.
Alright, Bones.
Bones,
We don't
right,
gotta
and
be
he says-
aggressive about it.
I'm
Man
aggressive
just
about
nearly
it.
died.
Just-
I don't think he's.
It's
I'm picking a
fine.
cat claw with the bone dagger. I'm looking at him.
My name is Halaster Blackcloak.
What was the name of the evil guy?
Cleric.
Alistair?
of
No, the one who
Joaquin.
fucked off fucking the other guy.
Hold up. Cleric of Joaquin?
Yeah.
You don't
Isn't that
know
what
someone named Obaya?
Only by name.
Damn, you think they just know each other?
I was just kidding. Like fucking, it's like maybe.
What? You know, just asking.
In the same
That's
city,
like saying-
they worship the
That's
same
like
god.
saying, like it seemed. I didn't think it was outside the realm of possibility.
It's not outside the realm of possibilities. Zach's just being a d-bag.
Am I though?
Yeah, yes.
Can you copy pasta the name for me real quick?
Yeah. And he says, I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to be rude. Just trying to learn the names of my rescuers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, my name's Matt. I'd introduce the others, but they seem kind of weird about saying their names.
He just kind of half chuckles and shrugs, and he says,
I saw that, Jay.
I'll take it. He kind of sits up, right?
Well, long you been down there?
This is the 19th.
Yes, sir.
7 days.
Wow.
That's almost a 10-day.
He seems like he's trying to collect himself.
Out of character?
Here. I'll reach into my pack and pull out a ration,
Well, bro, it's been almost a week.
a meal's worth of rations, and offer him one.
He kind of takes it absent-mindedly,
Mm-hmm.
and he looks at it and he says, "Thank you."
No
And
problem.
He kind of just stares at it for a second,
What was the evil guy's name? Daryl?
and then he takes
Paul?
like a hunk of
Maybe
bread and he
else.
kind of tears it off,
No,
and he
from
puts it in his mouth.
Keller's
Rex.
party.
Rex of Daggerford?
Rex.
Oh.
That's it. Dagger Man.
Rex
Yeah,
of
it's Rex. Okay,
Sorry,
sorry.
Jeremy.
You're
Rex. It was Rex.
I'm just
Guys
trying to make sure
You
this
guys
guy.
are yeah, you guys are trying to figure things out, right? And he says, he puts it in his mouth and he kind of like takes the water skin and he tries to like moisten it, right? And he kind of chews it down and swallows and he says, I'll keep being on it.
Just take it slow. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a bit early.
But yeah, we don't know what came of Caleb, but
Wait,
assuming
he
we
says-
pull out-
are we sure this
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
same party?
Yeah, so you start talking, you start mentioning this to him?
I mean, Caleb specifically mentioned Haleth and Midna.
Okay, see, I didn't have those notes, so
I just didn't take them.
Well, sir. So are you gonna start talking to him about it, or
Yeah,
are you?
yeah, I'll mention that we found Kellum like the day before yesterday, and
Kellum.
no, it's
I just assumed that they'd often.
he
At a
he
moment
ended
when
up
I wasn't
pulling
paying
up in a-
attention. Where'd you find him?
Actually, not too terribly far from here. Could probably walk there within 3 minutes.
Good thing he got out when he could.
He also mentioned a Midna. Is that person,
You
is
say
that
her.
person?
You say Midna, right? And all of his movements have been incredibly slow, sluggish, right? You say Midna, and his head snaps up towards you, and you see this full-on flash of hostility in his eyes, like murderous hostility, and his fists suddenly clench.
Calm down. Just don't need to get your blood pressure too high in your state. I take it she
The three of
offered you
them.
offense in some way.
Midna, Copper, Rex. They were hoarding treasure, hiding it, trying to cut me out. When I confronted them, they beat me within an inch of my life and tossed me in that pit. Left me to rot. Took my things. Took my holy symbol.
Oh man.
Yeah, boy. Sounds like we got a good old 3v3 coming. Where'd they go? Where'd they say they were going?
They were going down to map 2. Map 2. Floor 2.
Oh, is that what
No,
they're called? They're
Mount
called maps?
two.
My bad.
In my mind, I'm thinking.
I had a
someone's been
thing.
playing PoE.
I had a thing. No, I had a thing in my head because he follows it up right. He says they were going down to floor 2. Wanted to see what they could find. Copper has a map to floor 3.
Do you know where the entrance to floor 2 is?
He turns, right?
Wow.
And he
Oh.
points straight south, directly at the wall. Says, right through there.
It's the
Secret
platform 9
door.
3/4.
Fuck, we had never made it off this level.
I go check it out. I'm gonna check it out.
So walking over there, right? As soon as you get over there, and now knowing that there's supposed to be something there, you can see the seams, right, of the wall of a false wall, right, that pivots on a joint, right? So there's definitely a false wall here, a secret entry south. And as you're kind of inspecting it, Haleth kind of like turns up at the rest of you, and he begins to, like, he sets his feet under him and he begins to kind of rise. And as he does so, he kind of like looks like he has this renewed strength in him. He suddenly, like, the stiff movement is still there. It's still kind of jerky, right? But he doesn't look, he looks beaten to shit, right? But he doesn't look like a victim so much in this moment. He stands up and he looks at you and he says, "You're going down. I'll go with you."
In your state.
Can I?
I will take my revenge. What's up? Matashtai?
I would like to insight him. Is
Roll
this
me an
bravado?
Roll me an insight
Like-
check.
Yeah, are
Is
we
this
going to be
bravado?
leading this man to his death?
Can
Roll me
I
an insight check.
can I help him in this? Because I'm.
Well, you can make your own insight check, but you can't really assist someone on making an
I
insight check.
want to help him.
I don't really care if he wants to come or not.
His is much better than mine, and I want.
You're a little like spooked by the scenario, Ezra, and you're trying to like glean some information from this man, but he's just kind of throwing you by his posture and his performance. Matashtai, though, I think maybe you have a little bit. You might have a leg up in this race. So you're trying to figure out whether or not you're just gonna lead this man to his doom, right? That's kind of the feel you're going for, whether or not he could fend for himself. Well,
He has no
Matashtai,
focus
as you kind of like look at him and you think it through, clicks. You've seen this before, though rare. Your, I don't know, maybe a close friend or maybe just allies that you've heard of. But probably shouldn't worry about protecting the life of someone who's already dead.
Damn, is he already dead?
Creature that stands before you, Matashtai, is a revenant out for vengeance.
Like a legit revenant?
And that is where we're going to go ahead and end our session for tonight. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed yourselves.
Oh,
We will
shit.
meet back next Wednesday and
Dude,
see
let's get
where
this guy
this
some weapons.
where this carries
Right?
us into the next
Yo, where the
week.
ammunition at?
And yeah, we'll figure out what happens.
That's pretty dope. I like the idea of a cleric that's become a revenant.
Right? We'll see.
Not terrifying at all.
Not terrifying at all. We'll see where this goes next week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.
Later.
Night, guys.
There he is.
Bye.